It's kind of got an Oktoberfest-like vibe to it, ladies and gentlemen, albeit we've jumped the gun and we're 2 months early. It's a German doubleheader on the first Monday night of August, as all roads lead to the Nurburgring first up for Waste Options, Wings and Slicks, Formula Renault 3.5, and then, of course, on to the HockenheimRing in Germany, which is at the centre of a lot of discussion at the moment. Talks about the circuit itself, having a chat with Liberty Media about trying to get back onto the Formula One calendar for the first time at least this decade. It may not happen immediately, but who knows? The governing body may need some backup options, some alternates, some races up their sleeve to just implement at the last minute if the ongoing nuisance that is the tensions in the Middle East continues to be an issue. Good evening, everybody. Zach Cabin alongside Adam Lavis. Josh Zuno's in the house as well, formerly known as El Presidente, and before that I think we were nicknaming him Harold Holt at one point. Welcome to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Welcome to Monday Night Motorsport across Facebook and YouTube. Straight off the back of the Commonwealth Games, we're launching into a doubleheader tonight on German soil, including a second sprint round of Waste Options GT3. More on that at 8:30 Eastern. In the meantime, there's the circuit. 5 kilometres, 10:50 local service time, 17 km/h winds. They are in a northwesterly direction, 20 degrees the ambient, 86% humidity, partly cloudy conditions, 29 on track, and so far it's dry. Championship points, Alex Dezickas on top, 361 points rather, 2 points clear of Cameron Dance. Big championship implications there last week with Dan only managing 10th in race 1. Brooker 349, Gowan's 321, and Guy Leach on 298.7 points clear of David Baz. Let's have a look at the grid for this one for you. It's a 30-minute race, ladies and gentlemen, so there will be a compulsory pit stop attached to this. It's Brodie McConkey on pole alongside Johnny Bannock, Cameron Dance, and Alex Dezickas share the second row of the grid. Luke Brooker, Stephen Bull the third, Guy Leach, Adam Funslow the fourth, Thomas Sinner, and Ryan Jones from row 5. From row 6, it's David Baz and Dougie Gowans. From row 7, John Baldwin and Maverick Benson. From 8, Martin Davis and Liam Amos. From 9, Harrison Rayner and Callan Hodgkinson. From 10, Jonas Deggan and Joe Baldwin. From 11, Brett Bradbury and Joel Hansen. From 12, Terry Knowles and Kevin Wakefield. From 13, Aaron Bryan and maybe Mitch Noble. But we're going to get a false reading on Josh Zuno being there because we know he's in the booth doing RC for us, taking care of that. More on the very abrupt conclusion to Friday night for you a little bit later on. And we are ready to rock and roll. Josh has now exited stage left. If we need to drag him back in to get some adjudications from him with regards to what goes on out on the circuit, we will very much do so. We're ready to fire. Night 1, week 5, term 3, the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Let's go! Beautiful start to the inside from Johnny Bannock. Got the whole spot on Brodie McConkey on the run down towards the first corner. And here comes Cameron Dance on the outside. They make it to the corner. McConkey's wide. There's trouble further back. There was some contact. Jonas Deggan's joined from the back. Carnage at 1. 4 or 5 involved. And probably many more sustaining a little bit of damage here and there. Martin Davis up the road. Ryan Jones on the tow road. GT can't take a trick. Kenny Jonesy. And off track also John Baldwin, who was in trouble during qualifying. Oh boy, have a look at this. On the inside, McConkey wanted to return serve on Bannock, wasn't able to do so. Dance goes with him. 3-horse genuine race at the front. Watch for Alex Dezickas to fly under the radar as well, and Luke Brooker. Stephen Ball back up in a 6th spot. No movement. 3rd through 8th at the moment. David Baz up 2. Callan Hodgkinson and Harrison Rayner up 7 and 5 spots respectively. Aaron Bryan up 11 spots as a result of all the calamity that unfolded, the carnage, the chaos at turn 1. Ryan Jones, Liam Amos on the tow rope. John Baldwin and Martin Davis going to limp their way back to pit lane. Oh boy, trouble from the outset. Good evening to you, Adam Lavis. That trip-up point at the Nurburgring. It's been there for 25 years now, and it still claims its victims.
It's basically Germany's version of Monster T1. Very tight, very tight, wide entry corner. It invites everyone, and all of a sudden there's no room for anybody. So very easy for people to bite off more they can chew, and unfortunately it's named a few tonight.
I just need to clarify.
Oh, is that?
Oh, trouble coming out of the main straight.
Leachy.
Guy Leach going all over the place. Josh Zuno will be back with us in just a moment. I need to clarify. Miller Motorsport taking the you-know-what at turn 1. It's Johnny Bannock on the inside on turn 2. And at turn 3, it's Brody McConkie returning serve. Back to the lead he goes. I need to clarify as Maverick Benson, Brett Bradbury both go to pit lane. Jonas Deggan, Mitch Noble come back out into the race, having started from pit lane. Ryan Jones, John Baldwin, Martin Davis, Liam Amos still there. That's, yes. Hello, Ryan Jones. Who murdered Liam, somebody's saying. I need to clarify, that is a virtual fatality only, ladies and gentlemen. There's a fair bit of light and shade being thrown around at the moment. Everybody happy to extract a bit of the proverbial. The sledging, the banter of the highest order as we get underway on a Monday night. And if that's a sign of what's to come when we get to GT3, you're in for a funny night in the comment section via our YouTube channel, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to you. Good to have you along. There is Johnny Bannock into second spot. Good luck with all of that, Josh Schumer.
Yeah, I'm picking through it. Give me an hour, maybe 2.
Yeah, right. We'll come back to you at the end of the broadcast. Thank you. Good to have you here, albeit very temporarily and very briefly. Up to the chicane at the end of the back straight we go. McConkie leads from Bannock and Cameron Dance is third. We saw McConkie pop up elsewhere on our platforms recently, and I'm just trying to remember where that was. I think it might have been IndyCar, quite frankly. I don't think we've had him here in this series yet, and I'm just scanning through the leaderboard here to verify that, and yes, I'm right with that assumption. So I've had McConkie pop up, I think in IndyCar, Adam Lavis, you might have gone up against him there. So we're not surprised to see him pushing at the forefront of this field in an open wheeler. He's an open wheel specialist. Johnny Bannock, much better start than last week, so too Cameron Dance. And as I said earlier, Alex Tzikis continues to fly under the radar. Cullen Hodgkinson there in 14th place. Just an update. Brett Bradbury's got back out on the circuit, so too Jonas Deggan and also Maverick Benson. Mitch Noble's back out there. Liam Amos is also back out there, so too Martin Davis, John Baldwin. I'm not sure if Ryan Jones is going to bother based on the fact that he was already sliding into our comment section. Let's pick all that apart, Adam. Let's make sense of this as they run down towards turn 1, 4 wide, 3 wide. One goes a little bit too deep under brakes, bang, goodbye, see you later. Who was that that gave the defining touch that set off the chain reaction there?
Looked like Liam also closed the door a little bit there. So it was a bit, I think it was a hard one to squeeze. Josh is having fun with that one.
Have a look at the state of the wheel. He should have been able to drive that away. So Ryan Jones got clean bowled here. Amos out of control, bang, see you later. Rear wing gone, goodbye. I need to verify. So this was John Baldwin's view of all of it as he was trying to take evasive action. He's going to get cleaned up as collateral. Yeah, that's what I thought. And there's Joe Baldwin getting implicated in it all as well. So it wasn't Joe, it was the other black car that got into Amos that set off the chain reaction. I'm still trying to identify who that was, quite frankly. David Baz down on the inside. That'll be a nice move on Thomas Sinner for 9th. It's like they're attending Sunday Mass there, dropping to the knees, looking to the skies above, praying and hoping for a miracle. Good evening to the Miller Motorsport boys. Terry Knowles off the circuit right now. It was Maverick Benson. So Benson, the offender here, but it's so hard at one, isn't it? Everyone's on the brake at different times.
Liam sort of pushed him and then he's had nowhere to go once the braking zone happened. So he sort of damned if he didn't there.
Correct.
Yep, can confirm, Adam. That's how I've ruled as well.
Thank you, Josh. I might get you to run through the full rap sheet a little bit later on, since it's not going to pop up on the... I don't think it's going to pop up on the screen here, is it? You're not connected?
No, I'm not at the moment. A little bit too rusty. I'm trying to handle too many things at once. But yeah, I'll be on the start for a while. There's a lot of lack of caution and bad rejoins, you'd call it.
And you're not a... I was going to say, you're not an octopus, so you can only do with two hands as best you can, so that's fair. Trouble there at the exit of the chicane, so Liam Amos caught up for a second time, and that will be curtains for him, you would imagine. Cameron Dance back in third. How good's this race at the front? So McConkie's got control of it, but only by a second. Banak into second spot. Dance is third. The fourth spot belongs to Alex Zikas, just hanging there quietly, minding his own business, happy to sit back and let everybody else have at it. He cleaned up the pieces as a result of that last week. The boys having their spin at turn one. And Dance, of course, recovered the 10th in race one, won the feature. Johnny Bannock, of course, we hadn't seen too much of Johnny until week 3 when he won the first race and then was 16th and 2nd in 2 races last week. McConkey, the fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 42.7. So, okay, so we've now got some sort of cumulative number to work with here. We're probably heading for 18 laps. 1 minute 42, and let's just round it down to a minute 40, shall we? Can we do that? I'm just trying to make it work numerically. 1 minute 40 and 2 is 3:20 and 2 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 6 laps in 10 minutes. 12 and 18 gives you 30. We've got a compulsory transit of the lane to get through. We've got a little bit of carryover time to work with as well. As we can work right up until 31 minutes. And we lost the charismatic enigma that is Mr. Liam Amos. We have indeed. Still on pit lane after 2 minutes and 23 seconds. McConkey, Bannock, Dance, Tsitsikas, Bull. Oh, look. We're at the end of lap 5 here. So, yeah, we're gradually losing a little bit of time there to that threshold that we've got. But if we keep that within a minute and 35, a minute and 36, you would imagine that we can sneak in that extra lap. Remember that we can go essentially a full lap over time to about a minute and 40 beyond the marker. So we've got that leverage to play with. And if we go 18 by, well, I'm going to say 2.5 to 3 seconds there. So 18 by 3 is 54. The transit of the lane, that's trouble. But it was a good enough save for Cameron Dance. It only drops to 6th position. Have a look at this on replay. Luke Brooker, Stephen Bull have benefited from that. Dance sliding through. Oh, yep. And it was a full pirouette too, full-blown pirouette. Could not have timed that or done that any better to minimise the damage there. There's nothing worse than having to reset the zero, flick, spin it and get on with it. That's much more costly. It does cost him a fair bit of time there, though. He drops below Brooker and Bull, maybe the hopes of a podium gone begging. The margin to the lead are now 5.5 seconds. 9 minutes and 45 seconds gone here. The end of this lap will be lap 10. 17:18 is where we're heading with regards to race distance. I think we've got enough in the tank to get 18 for the reasons I just mentioned. But with tyre wear and other factors, that may press the issue a little bit. But I certainly feel as though we can get to 18, all being fair and equal. Good to see Miller Motorsport have found a new horse to back. Harrison Rayner in 11th spot. On to the main straight we go. So Rayner up 6 spots. Aaron Bryan up 12 spots. Zikas under pressure here from Stephen Bull. Charging down the outside. The Raging Bull. To the outside of Tsitsikas. To hold the inside at 3. Job done. Bull to 3rd. Tsitsikas with the up and under. No, not yet. Not yet. Very good stuff. Very, very good. Jonas Degen showing off the road. That'll be at the chicane. Aaron Bryan back to pit lane now. So he's the first of the scheduled pit stops, you would imagine, in all of this. Yeah, that's fair. I like it. 11 minutes and 10 seconds gone. We're on lap 7. 6.5 complete. And as I say, we're probably looking at around about that 18-minute mark. But if we want to do overtime, and that's the caveat there, folks, right? It'll either be 17 in regulation, or we'll force overtime to get to 18. That's where I'm hedging my bets at the moment. We're shaving time off that 1 minute 45 threshold, but we're losing time on the 1 minute 40 threshold. It's a tricky sort of medium that we've got to try and find in the middle there. Hence why I've gone for the 1 minute 40, because it's easier to take the time away than it is to add the time on. Harrison Rayner apparently has found something he won't crash in, according to Driving Dreams 651. Good on you, boys. Good to have you tuning in. Across the start-finish line we go. McConkey leads. Banach's closing in. Banach has caught him. This is exciting.
Rayner just flashed off tracks across the chicane as I said that.
Yes, as per usual. The odd commenter's curse. I'd highly recommend checking out his livery for this round. Went all out on putting this one together, says Miller Motorsport. So I need to now know whether he's a hybrid entry, because we've got him on our screen listed as Rayner Motorsport. So have you adopted him? What's going on? We need to know what's going on there. Late to the race for Mitch Noble, I would assume so. He's down a lap. Yes, he missed the start by a country mile. Kevin Wakefield to pit lane now as well. And we got, and this is the other interesting thing as well, Adam. When you look at the leaderboard, top 13 down to Trucker, yet to stop, right? David Baz there, the first of the expected stops on lap number 5. And then Aaron Bryan, Kevin Wakefield, laps 6 and 7. But I'd be putting an asterisk next to everyone that stopped on lap 0 or lap 1. I dare say we've got a coalition team. So I can use that. I'm coming back to that in a moment. Fair income. A sim racing brotherhood, so to say. So are we talking Liberals, Nationals, One Nation? Is that where we're going when we say coalition? And there's a reason why I get political this early in the broadcast. The comment you guys left in the Discord over the weekend. I've got to come back to that and cover that off in more detail as well. Across the line we go. Brodie McConkey leads it. So yeah, I'd be flagging anyone that stopped lap 1 or lap. By the way, Ryan Jones has parked up at exit stage left. Liam Amos may as well do so, because he's not going to complete 75% race distance. Rayner again lighting up off-track alerts, this time coming off the final corner. This was Alex Tzidakis looking at Stephen Bull. Yep. Turn 1 does turn 1 things. Well, it's turn 2 technically, because I count the kink as 1, and then the hairpin as 2, and turn 2 does turn 2 things. Picks him up, spits him out, just off camber, awkward, got on the throttle too early. Cameron Dance gets through, as does Luke Brooker. Dance is back to 4th, almost all of his damage undone. McConkey, Banach, Bull, Dance, Brooker, Tzidakis. And this was Joe Baldwin, unfortunately. Oh no, Trucker, what have you done? Caught the curb, yep. So that's the thing, they don't like the curbs either, do they, Adam?
Well, they are a Formula car, very stiffly sprung. We talked about last week. The stiff springs are part of the reason they're very snappy with the rear end, just like that. So you need to be very, very mindful.
Classic Red Bull livery activities, yes, absolutely. Aaron Bryan in there at the same pinch point of the circuit. McConkey leads. Have a look at Banach, just closing in, biding his time, waiting for his moment. The moment will come, and it'll most likely be well worth our while paying attention to their pit stops here. Across the line, lap 10, half race distance. See, and that's what I mean. We've just started lap 10 at the 15.5 minute mark. This one can run 31.5. We're well on track for that 18, folks. It depends on the transit time down the pit lane. And based on David Baz, 4.12 seconds, it'll be next to non-existent. These things are brutal for oversteering and then spinning like that. Tried doing a test in them last night, and not for me, maybe did one clean lap over 30 minutes. And that's why I commentate.
Looks like the transit, like the pit lane time loss is around the 15 to 20 second mark.
Yeah, again...
Total transit's 25 seconds, less the time it takes to get down the straight full speed.
So, yeah, we're definitely looking at 18 laps. In comes Joe Baldwin, in comes Jonas Deggan. Deggan, of course, having already started on pit lane, he needs to complete a CPS, despite the fact that it's already registering as though he's got a pit stop next to his name, and now he's on the tow rope for some reason. Oh dear.
There's still a little bit of movement, even though they're stiff.
Absolutely. What's happened to Jonas in pit lane, please? Did he have an incident coming into pit lane?
Move.
Up the outside. Up the outside. No, not yet. McConkey under relentless pressure from Banach here. When do they come to pit lane? Watch that pinch point as they come to pit lane. They have to get that run into pit lane. Spot on. All right, Racing served them with a very hefty invoice. Down the main straight we go at the end of lap 10. McConkey leads Banach. Will Banach go for the move? No, McConkey's away to it. McConkey's away. Oh, Banach to the third. On the run to one. There it is. Contact gone. See you later, boys. Had to see that one coming. Had to see that one coming. Turn 1 does it again. And in goes McConkey to the lead via the off-track alert. He's coming back on. But I think he's parked up behind the wall. I don't think he can get through. No, he's gone. He's done. That thing's broken. It was showing him as the leader because it was showing that he'd cut through the arena section of the circuit. And now... Oh, wow. I appreciate the kind remarks, boys. We'll come back to that a little bit later on. Let's have a look at this down the inside. Yeah, he was in no man's land, Johnny, unfortunately. McConkey slamming the door shut, right? And this is lap 11 of 18. I'm not sure he needed to be defending the position so relentlessly so early. And Banach, once he clipped that grass, he was a passenger. Gone. Goodbye. And they're both in trouble. McConkey on the tow rope. And as you can imagine, Johnny will be heading for pit lane, having sustained a little bit of damage there. We'll expect him in this time through. So advantage Stephen Bull, advantage Cameron Dance. They're now first and second. Johnny Banach back in third, but with an asterisk hovering over his head. Brute Brooker and Alex Tzidakis in fourth and fifth now as they make their way through. This is what happened to Jonas. Pit lane, every day of the week. Yep. Here he comes down into pit lane. Oh, he locked it up on the entry. He locked it up as he was trying to get to the control line. Oh, no. Boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. Jonas is back out in the race, but he spent 58.9 seconds on the tow rope and then completing the stop. So he's completed the stop and he's still going, but he's in all sorts of trouble. Brett Bradbury now on the tow rope. Adam Funslow under pressure. Down on the inside goes Guy Leach to sixth. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. And Brett Bradbury sporting, is that a tribute Benetton livery from back in the 92, 93 era, 91, 92? Yep. I did read that right. Very good. Very, very slick work from Brett Bradbury. Unfortunately, the incident not so much. Oh, no. Guy Leach kisses the dirt and opens the door back up for Adam Funslow down the inside. Up the hill. So this is a good little scrap now. It's the only real one in the top seven. Dance has caught back up to Bull. That's interesting. They haven't stopped yet. We're in the window. Hodgkinson in 10th place and everyone above him yet to stop. So too Jocelyn Hanson in 14th. There's an asterisk next to Maverick Benson and anybody else that stopped on lap 1. But they're not really of a concern below Maverick because Maverick's been able to stay on the lead lap, whereas Jonas, Mitch Noble, Terry Knowles, Martin Davis, John Baldwin are all a lap down. McConkey and Bradbury are probably out of the race at this point. At which point, they don't make 75% race distance, they don't get classified. If we go 18 laps, we come across the line to complete lap 12 now. We're still good for 18. We're still good for 18. Trust the bingo card, I love it. Now, across the start-finish line we go. Tzidakis has come to pit lane. Banach has continued on. Not sure what the adjudication's going to be. Might bring Josh Zuno into the commentary box in a moment once he's got a chance to finish analysing everything that's going on out there because it's been a busy night for him. I don't know who was responsible for him drawing the short straw and getting this gig on a Monday night, but we'll find that out later as well.
Pretty sure
towards the hairpin we go. Yes, Adam?
Pretty sure he volunteered.
More for him then. Out of the hairpin, we're coming up the hill. Gets all over the back of Stephen Bull, and he's just punched out the fast club of the way, 1 minute 42.236. All right, Josh, talk us through that incident. Turn 1, Johnny Banach, Brodie McConkey, what do you know?
So, yeah, relatively simple one in terms of that one. So McConkey there defended quite early. There was very, very minor movement in the wheel, so he chose his line very early. And Benash chose to take to the dirt for an advantage and caused a serious accident. So that's been ruled on in quite a serious manner because it kind of covers off 2 incidents, going off track to gain an advantage. And
he's going to have a bit of adjudication at the moment. Josh Cameron Dance has crossed the edge of the pit line, trying to get through, and Stephen Bull was trying to overtake in the braking zone for the right-hander, and he's just put his night to an early end. What about that? Come back to me, mate. We've got to stay with this. That's Stephen Bull stealing victory from the jaws of defeat right here. Bannock with a penalty hanging over his head. McConkey on the tow rope. Dance on the tow rope. Stephen Bull, last man standing. Wowee. Look at this. Now, did Stephen Bull? Yes, he was fine. He didn't get invoiced for any of that. I thought iRacing might have been up him for the rent with regards to the unsafe entry, but that was somewhat forced. He was forced out onto the white line there by Cameron Dance, who's locked it up and made an absolute meal of the Logitech G-Orbit Drop Air Motorsport Formula Renault 3.5. Wow. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. And there goes Harrison Rayner around the wrong way as well. Yeah, have fun with that, Josh.
I don't know when I'm looking at this. See, I've never seen a fight into pit entry like that, where there's an overtake going past the control line. That's a new one,
I haven't seen that outside of oval racing. Right, NASCAR, IndyCar, yeah, sure, you can probably expect those sorts of games, but I've never seen that on a circuit. What the hell? That just goes to show you how fiercely fought this series is at the moment, and it was a case of win it or bin it for Cameron Dance. He wanted the whole shot. He wanted the advantage going into the pit lane. Maybe he wasn't aware that Stephen Bull was going into pit lane as well, and only became aware as Bull was steering things right. And at that point, all hell broke loose. 1:08 on pit lane, and Dance comes back out in 13th spot. Bannock, Brooker, Funslow, Sinner into pit lane right now. Stephen Bull's going to come through. Now, Bannock's going to lead... Oh, Terry Knowles in trouble. Bannock is going to lead them through. The margin's a second, but what's the invoice he's going to wear, Josh? How many seconds?
Let me have a look. Sorry, I'm just logging one. Apologies. So I've handed down a 25-second penalty for that one. So that's as big as it gets before you have to take a pit transit, and it's arguably a very similar penalty.
So, well, that's right. So Stephen Bull can just hold station here. He doesn't need to run the risk of engaging in battle with Johnny Bannock right now. He'll inherit the win. And for Stephen Bull, it'll be long overdue. 9th in the first week, 8th in the third week. We haven't seen him in weeks 2 and 4. A win tonight. He's an open wheel specialist. He's there or thereabouts in our IndyCar series at the moment. Great to see. Disappointment for Johnny Bannock, though. I mean, obviously, you could see what was going on. The door was getting slammed shut. But we know turn 1 at the Nurburgring that he was running out of room. And as he's gone down the inside, unfortunately, all hell has broken loose. Brodie McConkey out of the race and done. John Baldwin done. Brett Bradbury done. Liam Amos, Ryan Jones done. 5 retirements confirmed so far. And we have 3 laps to go up the line. Now, let me just confirm that I'm on the money there. Oh, well and truly, yes, we're good. It's 3 at the line for Bannock and Bull. Dougie Gowans is flying under the radar here from 12th on the grid up into 3rd. He's just come to pit lane now, so that'll undo that. Apologies. Luke Brooker will therefore inherit 3rd. Alex Jazikas 4th. Now, what's the margin? Bannock to everybody else. It's 25, the invoice that he's wearing at the moment. That's going to see him drop out down around about where Thomas Sinner's residing at the moment. Sinner comes through. The deficit to the lead is 21.3. So at this stage, Bannock's coming out in position number 9. Dougie Gowan sitting 27.8, 28 seconds away. And Bobby Camo reckons that's a little bit steep, but it's not his it's not his fight. I'm sure if Johnny wants to argue the point with you, he can. He's more than willing and ready to do so and able to do so. Josh, the interesting thing is there's been several incidents tonight. Have you cast your eye over the Cameron Dance one, or are we ruling that self-suicide?
I can't really fault. I can't really fault 441 there. They were both fighting over pit entry. He had a right to enter. Cameron was the 06 was the attacking car there, so I am going to be ruling that one in NFA.
NFA, yep. Which is a very different acronym to NFI, ladies and gentlemen. But yes, NFA, no further action. Thank you very much, Josh. Appreciate that. Look at us skirting around the edges of being controversial on a Monday night. Johnny Bannock, Stephen Bull, Rick Brooker, Alex Tzikis and Adam Funslow, the top five. Speaking of controversy, there's... yeah. Watch this space, ladies and gentlemen. There's something that I want to blow the lid off right now with regards to some news that's going to break in Australian motorsport over the next fortnight. I can't do that. There goes Adam Funslow! Adam Funslow off the road at the chicane. How many have been caught out? It's either the chicane at the end of the back straight or the kink and hairpin at turn one that have claimed the casualties tonight. There's another one. Pit lane's claimed two as well. Just that whole section of the circuit. There should be warning signs and alarm bells all around it at the end of this night. Stephen Bull sits second, 0.78, 2 laps from home. He wins the race if he stays there because Bannock's got a 25-second invoice hanging over his head. And even if it was only 15, it drops him to fourth. Although, actually, no, he's just actually got fourth back. Alex Tzikis would be below him, so he'd actually take third. So if he gets it reduced in any way, shape or form, when he argues the point with race control, if we're saying it's 15 to 20, if it's 15, it would come back to third. If it's 20, he would end up fifth. If it remains 25, he would stay sixth at the moment because David Baz has just exited stage left. He's off the road in the kitty litter and well and truly fried. Have a look at that. That's a destroyed Formula Renault 3.5. David Baz has had a monster here. Coming up through the left-hander at 6. Curb, lit it up, gone. Damon Hill had a not dissimilar incident at the other end of the circuit at that very similar section where it is that left and then fast-flowing right. Look at him, he's trying to limp it back to the lane. He would hope he wouldn't cause another accident in the process of trying to do so, but he's limping it back to pit lane. Terry Knowles has a black flag hanging over his head, but it matters very little because he's on pit road right now and has been for 1 minute and 6 seconds. Dougie Gowan sits 7th right now. That incident for David Baz, I'll show you the point of the circuit. 1995 was the year he was vying with Michael Schumacher for the World Championship, of course, and this pretty much put it to bed when he had a not dissimilar incident what David Baz had, but at the other end of the circuit, out of the Schumacher S on the back side of the track. The similar section, left into right, and it was in the left-hander, and he lit up the rear end, and off he went. There is Stephen Bull. You're going to see that on your screen in a moment. We're into overtime. We're also on the final lap. The white flag is flying. I'm just hoping that Barney's on deck tonight and not slacking off now that we've got him for a new month.
He's there, but he's in a little glass box, so he can't wait to slack.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes perfect sense, doesn't it? You are superfluous to requirement if you can't actually do the job.
He hasn't worked out the window controls.
No, correct. So there's the left-hander. That's where... No, see? Right there. Wow, Stephen Bull. Whoa. A near-death experience in the virtual variety. In the virtual form. He gets out of jail free with that one. And that's going to lead him to the line. Stephen Bull's going to get the job done. Provisionally. That's how it'll stand. So it was that section of the circuit where David Baz was, where Damon Hill had his very similar moment to what David Baz had all those years ago. 1995, we're talking 31 years. There's the checkered flag. Johnny Bannock crosses the line first, but will drop down the order. Have a look at Adam Funslow. One last run on Dougie Gowans, and they almost also clean up David Baz. At what point do they insist that he jumps on the tow rope? Through they come. Gowans, Funslow, the battle for 7th. Brooker's come through 3rd, Tzikis 4th, Leach in 5th, Sinner into 6th. Gowans and Funzlo out of the final corner to the line. Oh, look at that. Dougie's hold on. Dougie's hold on. David Baz is off the road again. Martin Davis comes across the line in 19th. He'll be the last of the finishers. There are 2 cars a lap down in all of this. David Baz has now just given up. I think you'll find he has not continued on. He's exited stage left. And that'll drop him down into position number 19. At the expense of Mitch Noble and Martin Davis. Baz will still be classified at 75%, as will Cullen Hodgkinson, importantly. He's managed to come across the line in 20th, 4 laps down. Terry Knowles 3 laps down, showing 21st for some reason, so I don't know why he's showing behind Hodgkinson when my timing screen's saying that he's actually finished 1 more lap than Hodgkinson. In an 18-lap situation, 4.5 and 2 is 9, 4.5, 13.5. You needed to finish 14 laps. Everyone down to Terry Knowles has managed to do that somehow in amongst all that calamity. Bloody hell. Bannock led him across the line. Rain is happy with 9th. If the 25-second penalty stands for Johnny, it will drop him down to below Guy Leach. It'll drop him into 5th position. But again, it's all provisional at this point in time. Bannock, Bull, Brooker, Tzidakis and Leach the top 5. Sinnegowans, Funzlo, Rayner, Dance, Baldwin, Benson, Wakefield. Then Hanson and Bryan the top 15. Most positions gained in all of that. Kevin Wakefield and Aaron Bryan are tied for 11. And Mitch Noble with 10. Wowee. The hairiest moments of the race, though, belong to this bloke. He joins us now. Hello, Stephen Bull. Any Code Brown moments in all of that, please? Oh, no. I thought that might have been the case.
I haven't had quite a chance to look back at pit entry there, and I haven't been able to take my eyes off anything, so I don't know if race controls slapping me down on that one, but yeah, I stand by for their judgment on that.
We're told no further action. We're told no further action because you're allowed to enter pit lane, and obviously you and Cameron are both going for the same piece of real estate, but you are entitled to go into pit lane. So race control was in here. Josh Suno was in here having a chat with us and has said no further action, mate. So that's all good and well. So Cameron Dance sees himself out. Bannock and, of course, McConkey have that running at 1. Bannock wears a 25-second penalty at this rate as well. I know race control's having a chat with him about that at the moment, whether that is shrunk down a little bit or not. It's still a penalty of some sort. They've viewed him to be at fault for that. So really, all the competition and all the opponents that stood in your way tonight saw themselves out in some way, shape or form. The C's parted beautifully for you to grab your first win in these cars.
Yeah, good to put first one on the board for the season then. I didn't realise Johnny had a penalty there. I was going hell for leather trying to catch him at the end, but I think this combo's been particularly tough. It's very easy to lose it on the brakes and the throttle round here, and I think everyone in that lead pack has they put themselves a bit backwards at some point with some sort of mistake, and I think I don't want to say I kept my nose to the cleanest of everyone, but managed to do the least damage to myself, I guess.
Now, on that subject, obviously I'm a bit surprised to learn that you didn't have any communication before that to hang on. The MRA Willie. I'm scared, he says. Is that a new user handle name in our chat thread there, Adam? I'm not sure if I've seen that one before. I don't know who belongs to that, but good evening to you. I'm just trying to interpret that correctly. I might have had an absolute meal of that, but that's what it reads out to me. The MRA Willie. But let's go back to you, Stephen Bull. I mentioned Code Brown moments. One was with Cameron Dance. I bet you weren't expecting to see David Baz limping along coming into the final sector of the final lap.
No, I wasn't. I was a little tunnel vision, just trying to push as hard as I could, put as much pressure on Johnny, and I sort of clocked that a bit after committing to the corner. I probably shouldn't have taken so much speed in there, but I've managed to come away from it okay. I don't know if we netcoded a bit there. I got a 4x, but no actual contact on land.
Mr. A. Willie is how it's pronounced. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, the user handle, it's very hard to interpret that. But I'm very glad that you were able to clarify that for us. Thank you. I'd also like to know why you're scared at this particular point. There's nothing to be scared about being in that comment section. Actually, no, maybe there is. Stephen, interesting moments because this is a big leg up for you in the championship, although we know that you've already missed a couple of rounds on a Monday night. We don't know if you're able to be here for the remaining 5 rounds, but it must be nice to be competitive when you are able to get behind the wheel. Yeah,
it's good, and I didn't do a whole lot of practice for this. I've been focusing on the IndyCar a lot more. Just did a few laps before the session went up, a few more in the practice. So to be there at the front, and the front of this series is really strong at the moment. So it's good to be up there.
What are the key factors for you, right? When, and this is me just going off the cuff here because I know that I'm not working with a hell of a lot considering that you've only just jumped into the session late, maybe not put as much prep time in as some of the other guys. But how difficult is it when you do that to then go out and put together the almost perfect performance? And how much brainwave do you use familiarising yourself with the circuit, and how much prior knowledge do you have to have knowing full well what these cars are like and how they operate, but also where the trip-up points are on this circuit, which, as we know, are the chicane at the end of the back straight and quite notoriously the old hairpin at turn 2.
Yeah, I'd say it's I've got plenty of track knowledge, driven the track a bunch, not so much with the car, but what I do know about it is it's limiting factors on how quick you can drive it is really just how hard you can push the brakes without turning it around, and the same thing on the throttle. So just focusing the practice on finding the limits there, figuring out what the right brake bias should be and so on, and just targeting the pain points really.
Indeed. Now, I'm not sure what your schedule's like, mate, but the next stop for this series is Silverstone. Of course, same spot that we're heading to on Thursday night for the Porsche Cup, interestingly enough. Talk us through the back half of that schedule. I mean, it doesn't necessarily matter whether you're here or not. We'll determine that as we go along. We know that your schedule varies at the moment, but Silverstone's the next stop, which, like the Nurburgring, like all the circuits that follow, actually, are all former Grand Prix tracks. And Silverstone should be an absolute beauty for 30 minutes as well. So the same format, back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Silverstone's going to be a good race. I don't think I'm going to make that one. I'm keen for Jerez though. I love the track, but it never really gets raced. So I think I'm making an effort to show up to that one. Hungaro, Coda, not particularly fun tracks in my opinion, but I'll definitely try and make the season ender at Suzuka as well.
Suzuka goes all right. From memory, you've had some not too recent success there. Were you the one that broke the stranglehold that Aidan, Cale and co had on the Formula 3 series at that venue?
Rings a bell. I know it's somewhere. I don't know if it was Suzuka, but it very well could have been.
Let me just go and have a look at that. Wings and Slicks 2026B, Suzuka, week 6, and we go all the way around here. There's the one next to the name. Oh, wait, Stephen Bull. It was. They dominated every other week, but they had a centre cross moment at the Casio Triangle appropriately. And there you were to clean up the pieces on their behalf. Very nicely done. The Nurburgring, great racetrack. Shame that we probably don't see it on the Formula 1 schedule anymore. It's got a place near and dear in our hearts. Of course, it's the venue where Mark Webber notched up his first win. But let me ask you this with regards to what's left with this season. Knowing that you're a part-time contender, and I'll get to Friday night in just a moment as well, because we were abruptly cut off there for reasons I haven't yet enlightened everybody upon. Also, we've got about 10 minutes here before we need to take a break. But talk to me about, as you look at this championship and you're looking at who the contenders and the pretenders are, who would you be mindful of? Who would you be keeping an eye on if you were one of the people watching from home as this series plays out? of those guys that we know are going to be full season competitors and wanting to be in contention when we get to week 10 at Suzuka?
Oh, there's a few guys in there. Everyone who was in that pack at the start. I was at the start of that race. I thought, I might end up P6 at the end here. So there's a lot of guys with their hats in the ring at the moment. I think, especially Saley. I think someone I've noticed, Alex Tzidikis, he just keeps improving every time I'm back with him.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I'm not sure how the championship's stacking up at the moment, but lots of quick guys in there right now.
I should be able to show you that information in just a few moments, but Tzidikis managing to get fourth tonight, Luke Brooker in for third. Second, of course, went the way of, this is all before the order gets corrected with that potential penalty, of course, for Johnny Bannock. I know he's gone and argued the point with race control. Whether he was successful with that argument or not, I'm not sure. But as things stand, it would be Brooker second, Tzidikis third, Leach fourth, and Bannock in for fifth, based on the knowledge that we have so far. Talk to me about IndyCar, mate, because as I said, for those of you that tuned in, right, on how amusing was this for me, by the way, to have my childhood being relived. But I didn't know I was reliving it at the time. I only found out after the fact. You might have noticed a rather abrupt end to our broadcast on... actually, hang on. I'll get to the IndyCar explanation in a moment. Let me just drag Mr. Jay Bannock into the house, and Johnny, hold station. I'm going to come to you in a moment. If you were watching our broadcast on Friday night, you may have noticed a rather abrupt end to proceedings during the IndyCar portion from Long Beach, California. Poor old Joe Trucker Baldwin, adding to the entourage of mechanical and technical issues that have befallen the sim racing community throughout the course of this season so far. And it's happening at a spate and rate that I have never seen. His soundboard blew up. It absolutely crashed it. And as a result of that, I'm sitting here unaware of what's going on at Trucker's End, and I'm still commentating. So when Ben Pedersen left the booth, and he stuck around for until about a couple of laps to go, I don't know how much of that conversation you caught, but he was in here having a chat with us. I still haven't gone back and had a look at the footage as to what moment we went off air. You saw the footage. We were able to stay with that right through until the race finished, and I'm glad that we're able to do that. But there was no sound coming through because Trucker's soundboard had other ideas. It just decided to tap out. I'm done. I'm hoping he's got everything repaired, ready for Friday night, of course. But as a result of that, I'm there just calling the last couple of laps of the race to myself. I'm just having a chinwag all on my own. The only people that would have maybe have heard it would have been my housemates on the floor above. So that was unfortunate. What was even more unfortunate is that we didn't get to chat to these blokes post-race to have a discussion about the events of Long Beach. Let's not worry about Ethan Morris, Stephen. He's in a class above. Like, he's just that far in front of the competition at the moment. It's not funny. But from your standpoint, interesting strategy choices there because the competition caution fell at a very awkward time. But your strategy worked. Talk us through how you made that happen, please.
Yeah, sort of just, again, figuring out what the critical lap was. When the safety car came out, I knew that I could save to the end if I pit there and then, and so that was the call. I think at that point, with the safety car landing where it did, that put me in a better strategy position than Ethan, but he just executed better, and I didn't quite push as hard as I should have. I had a bit of fuel left over at the end, so a bit left on the table, but very well driven by Ethan, and happy to pull a second at least.
Well, that's exactly right, and same podium as last week, just different order. You got the better of the hard-charging, late, fast-finishing Dan Yeaman, of course, but Long Beach, a real grueling challenge. No real time to come up for air there. It's got to be full focus for the whole hour, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those high-risk tracks where you got to really put it on the line to find pace there, and I think Aiden was showing that he was really good at that, and I didn't have the pace to answer that, and still haven't quite gone back to figure out what's happened with him there to see him so far down the order, but it's I think it's going to be similar coming up to Portland next in a bit of a different regard. It's you're going to be leaning on the tyres quite heavily there. Not so many walls around, but it's going to be a similar challenge.
Can you stay with me for a couple of minutes, please, Steve?
Can do.
Thank you. I just want to bring everybody's attention to that news that just flashed across the bottom of your screen. And we've got the man here to have a chat with us in person about all that and more. Johnny Bannock, originally Race Control slapped him with a 25-second invoice. It's now been slashed by 40% to 15 seconds. Can we bring up the finishing order on screen again for everybody's benefit at home, please, Adam Lavis? Because we'll be able to tell you now that will change things with regards to how the night plays out. And there it is. So 15 will drop. That'll slide Johnny back to 30. Still grabs a podium, but where's that 15-second invoice? Stephen Bull goes to the win, and in the end, that'll be 11.5 seconds, which is a fair tip of the old hat to Stephen and how well he drove away from the competition. Luke Brooker grabs the second, and Alex Tzikis will grab fourth in behind Johnny Bannock. Guy Leach in for fifth, and then Thomas and Dougie Gowans. Because originally there, Johnny, good evening to you, mate. We'll talk about the incident itself in just a moment. And there are the updated championship points for the benefit of everybody at home as well. 450 for Alex Tzikis remains on top now. Luke Brooker slides his way over to second spot on 444, and Cameron Dance 433. Gap back to Dougie Gowans, Guy Leach, David Baz, Adam Funslow, Martin Davis and Joel and Hansen, with Thomas Sinner making up the top 10. 140 points covers the top 10 at the moment. Looking further afield, it's 66 between fourth and eighth at the moment, and only 6 points back to Joel and Hansen. In fact, even more interestingly, that 40-point gap between Guy Leach and David Baz is huge. So David Baz to Joel and Hansen is just 18 points at the moment. So that's razor tight. There's no doubt about that. I mentioned razor inadvertently because I've got a date with mine tomorrow. The old bum fluff just becoming a little bit itchy and irritating, but that's another story. 450 plays 444 and 433. Righto, let's rip the band-aid off. Johnny Bannock, good evening to you. Another week, another bit of controversy, but there's a fair argument to be... so penalty slashed is ridiculous. IDNF, and he gets a podium, says Brodie McConkie. I mean, if you want to argue the point, Josh Duno's still around, mate. You can feel free to jump on in and have a chat with him in your own regard. But it was interesting because the way we called it, Johnny, I mean, obviously, Race Control handed down their verdict and then have just lightened the invoice a little bit there. We saw that Brodie was slamming the door shut. The defence started really early there, but at the same time, we know how turn one at the Nurburgring is. And as soon as you were in no man's land, we were bracing for trouble, and trouble ensued. Talk us through it from your standpoint, mate. Obviously, no doubt disappointed with how that happened, disappointed with the penalty and losing the win. But apart from those 3 pointers, again, you've come out and proven that on your night, you are a real contender in this series.
Yeah, it was a bit of a busy night, a lot of adrenaline. I obviously copped the full penalty, and then obviously I went to Race Control to try and plead a case of one of the factors that led to it being as harsh as it was. I understand, yes, going a bit off the track and getting an advantage was worthy of a penalty. I'll that's in the rules, can't negotiate that, but I did ask Race Control to review the contact itself. I felt like once I got alongside, I was pretty stable, and Brodie's DNF was really to his own accord because he touched me, and then obviously Netcode did its thing. So I tried to be nice and plead my case, and that's how it ended up coming to what it was. And I appreciate Race Control just having a look and being courteous to me. It's not nice to see Brodie out of the race. I'm not gonna lie, I did not expect him to. I didn't expect anyone to show. I'm not saying I was praying for a win or something, but I was kind of hoping for a good result. And Brodie kept me on my toes, and it was just unfortunate the contact that we had. But I can't do much about that. But I do take I do put my hand up with the off-track advantage.
You've taken your medicine. Here it is again for everybody at home. So at this point there, we're thinking you're in strife. But can we just rewind that a little bit further, Adam Lavis? Can we just go back up and see, as they're coming out of the final corner, you can see that at that point in time, I thought Brodie was aware very much that the move was on. and he went very early about trying to shut that down. And unfortunately just didn't clamp down hard enough, because let's be honest, Johnny, if there's no room to go down the inside, you don't end up in no man's land. You've gone there because, as the great Ayrton Senna once said, if you no longer go for the gap you can see, you're no longer a racing car driver, right?
Yeah, that is a quote. I don't feel like sim racers take that in the best way, though. They kind of send it when there is no gap and just hope that the heavens open it up. But look, no, like, I don't think it was that case. Like, I closed in pretty fast. It was a millisecond decision I had to make, and I made the wrong one. Unfortunately, I should have just eased off, forced him to go narrow, then try and keep putting the pressure on him. I saw that I was coming back at him. Whether I got past him or not, regardless of whatever happened, I think was pretty close, because he was very fast and putting his car in the right places, but he was costing us a lot of time. But I understand, it's the lead of the race, so I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna slag him off or anything like that. I'm not gonna slag him off at all. Like, the only thing I asked for race control about was a bit of leniency in the penalty in regards to contact, and luckily they were able to review it and get a second opinion, and it is what it is. But it was a fun race. It was just unfortunate the way how it ended, and just congrats to Stephen Bull for just capitalizing on our BS, and that's racing. That's racing at the end of the day.
And at that point, Stephen's probably looking at that thinking, geez, I'm glad I'm just far enough back from this to not be implicated or caught up in the mess as well. Quick comment from you, Johnny, because we're quick running out of time here, mate. We've got about 7 minutes before we've got GT3s on the grid. You mentioned, obviously, you were lucky in the sense that you come off far better for wear in terms of damage sustained and all that sort of stuff. You were able to press on and come to the pit lane on your own accord, and then press on and cross the line first, knowing full well that there was an invoice hanging over your head. But you mentioned netcode. I'm noticing that becoming more and more of a problem as the season goes on, aren't you?
I think our particular incident wasn't exactly a netcode. I don't know. I have to rewatch it again. But yeah, I've heard, particularly with this car, it is a bit of an issue. So just got to give a bit more space sometimes, or just try and find a better place to overtake, unfortunately.
And I guess the only other thing is, we were looking at it thinking, oh geez, it's lap 11. If this is the intensity now, can they sustain it for another 8 laps to get to the end of the race? Something to be said about playing the long game as well, but all in due course, boys. Hey, Johnny, give us your thoughts before I get a final comment from Stephen here and throw everyone to a quick break. Obviously, that's another podium finish for you. A strong showing the last couple of weeks. There's no doubt about that. What are your thoughts on Silverstone for 30 minutes next Monday night?
Not my most favourite track in the world, but just gotta put the laps in if I can, and just show up and just hope I can perform like I always have, and just go from there, and hope I don't cop another penalty, and don't get shoved off the track. I'll understand if Brody is a bit more aggressive with me next time, but if there's a gap and it's reasonable, I'm going to go for it. So, yeah.
Yes, it's already been noted on my sheet here. Keep an eye on those two if they find one another on the same piece of real estate going forward. That's a little rivalry that we'll watch brew as the season goes on. Thanks for coming on in, mate. We appreciate that. Thanks for being a good sport about it. Bad luck, but at the same time, well done. Very, very entertaining show put on by you lot. We're looking forward to more of the same beginning next week, and we'll no doubt see you behind the wheel at some point as week 5 rolls on as well.
Yeah, again, sorry to Brody for what happened. I felt like I argued my decent case to get the more lenient penalty. But just a quick shout out to Terry Marsh. It's his birthday today, so the podium's here. So yeah, just want to say that.
Happy birthday to Tez from all of us as well. Stephen, Portland, Friday night, IndyCar. How are you feeling about that before I let you go?
Yeah, pretty good. I'm going to try and get in the actual official race there then on the day or two after that, so putting in a good bit of practice, working on a setup which obviously we can't use for the series, but learning a lot more about the car at the moment. It's definitely one of my weaker open wheelers, so to drive it and sort of get a bit more understanding of what it likes to do and whatnot around that track has been good, and feeling pretty quick.
I still can't believe Cameron Dance was trying to overtake on the way to pit lane. That for me, that and the McConkey Banach incidents, the two incidents that defined the race. Very entertaining stuff. Thanks for stopping on by, mate. We appreciate that. Go well for the rest of the week. We'll look forward to catching up, no doubt, in Victory Lane again on Friday night, or at least in the post-race show as a podium finisher if you can't bring the run of Ethan Morris to an end. Someone's got to do it at some point. I'm not sure we've ever seen someone go through a season undefeated, but if anyone can do it at the moment, it's him. Go well for the rest of the week, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
From Stephen Bull to a quick break. Waste Options GT3 on the other side of this short break, folks. You're watching Monday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. We're live, exclusive and free across Facebook, YouTube, and we're here with thanks to Disruptive Labs, Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com and Flash Graphics. We've got the silver and platinum splits in focus tonight. Sprint racing from the HockenheimRing, the second of as many sprint rounds in as many weeks before we ramp it up to enduro mode next week. A quick break on the back of Alex Tzikis retaining the lead in the Waste Options Formula Renault 3.5 series on the back of a win for Stephen Bull, and back with more for you in just a moment. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Waste Options Monday Night Motorsport. It's night one of week 5 of term 3 of 2026. It's a German doubleheader for you. Yep, think Oktoberfest just a couple of months ahead of time. Although I'd rather be ahead of time than behind time. Hello to our Queensland audience. You've only got a couple of months until that is the case. This is the second of as many sprint rounds in as many weeks, and the second of 4 for the season. It's also the last of the first half of the campaign and the last of the shortened formats before we get into an enduro this time next Monday night. Zach Coburn alongside Dave Oliver's in the house to join us for co-commentary once again for Waste Options GT3. Adam Lavis is here as well. We now bring you all the action from the GT3 Silver Split before we go and have a look at the Platinum boys do their work after we, of course, brought you all the action for the gold and bronze splits last week. The Hockenheim circuit, 4.5 kilometres long. As you can tell, it's a lightly wet circuit, 22 degrees the track temp, 21 the ambient. 10 o'clock in the morning local server time, and those winds are south tending southwesterly, and we're looking at 21 degrees, as I said, 92% humidity and partly cloudy conditions. But when it's lightly wet, Dave Oliver, it spices things up just nicely, doesn't it? Good evening to you.
Yeah, welcome guys. Yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting race here. It's just kind of looking at it, there's no rain at the moment, but the track is about half wet. So it's about 50% wet at the moment. So if people do start on slicks,
it's half and half.
Dead. Yeah, so it's if they start on slicks, it's the wrong decision. It's going to be ultimate death.
There is a huge gamble being wagered right now because Thornweg and Nathan Harvey, the front row, are on slicks. The first of the wet runners is Neil de Bruin in position number 3. There's your championship at the moment, folks. As you can see, 5 Ferraris are forward, 2 Astons, 2 McLarens in the top 10. Todd Suter 369, Alan McDonald 354, Thornweg at 338, Scott Smith 321, and Edward Rollo 313 points. We've got, what have we got, about half a lap here to get underway, so that's good. Gives us plenty of time to run through this grid. Only 26 turning up tonight. This is one of the lower grid turnouts of the season. Although, actually, no, this is split number 3, so that's all right. That's not too bad for them. That's about on par. My apologies. See, all these name changes, and all of a sudden I'm getting my bloody splits mixed up. Thornweg and Nathan Harvey, the front row. Neil de Bruin and Jared Purcell, second row. Stephen Gallagher, Liam Amos, the third row. Joel Henson, Lachlan Chinkfield, fourth row. Jackson Russ and Greg Heaney from 5. From 6, it's Todd Suter and Mitchell Buckman. From 7, Cameron Dagan and Alan McDonald. From 8, Scott Smith, Ben Goring. From 9, Warren Ivan, Colin Hodgkinson. From 10, Martin Pedersen and John Akers. From 11, it's Jacob McIntyre and Edward Rollo. From 12, it's Joe Hargraves and Thomas Cole. From 13, it's Jesse McMenamin and Jordan Dakin. Dakin, despite not setting a qualifying time, has taken his place on the grid. Ferrari, Ford, 5 different manufacturers in the top 5. Ferrari, Ford, Chev, Porsche, McLaren. Greg Heaney's out there in an Aston. That makes 6. 7 makes the Lamborghini of Jacob McIntyre, and 8 Martin Lipsky in the Mercedes. So 8 different manufacturers out there. I'll get to the ones that aren't in just a few moments. We are ready to rock and roll. Waste Options, Monday Night Motorsport, into the main course offering now. The 6th race of the season in Waste Options GT3. Welcome to our coverage of the Silver Split. Let's go, let's go, let's go. And as you can already see, it's very, very sketchy out there. If you're a dry runner, that's what's going to happen. Straight off at turn 1 went Thornweg. And there goes Nathan Harvey. Hold your breath, folks. Here we go. So, you're a sitting duck if you're on a dry tyre. Half the field's on dries. In fact, more than half I want to wager. As they tippy-toe down towards turn 2. And if you're a wet weather tyre runner, you've got a tremendous opportunity to take full advantage of this and make life very difficult for the guys around you when we get to race 2. That was a magnificent save from Nathan Harvey. Huge takes from a moment. The dry runners include, actually, let's go with the wet weather runners. Neil de Bruin, Jackson Ross down on the inside of Thornweg. It goes to second. In fact, he's on the outside, I should say. Thorn on the inside, tippy-toeing out of there. Stephen Gallagher's on wets. Lachlan Shinkfield, Joel Hansen, Mitch Buckman, Greg Heaney. Ben Goring, John Akers, Martin Pedersen. Oh, they're all off the road now at the end of the back straight. Big one. Thornweg crash bang into the wall, and it's a parking lot down there in the Mercedes Arena section. Thorn's gone out in tremendous fashion. Clean bowled through there as well. Oh dear. Thornweg and Nathan Harvey on the tow rope. One of them blinky billing. This is the carnage we expected. Ben Goring's got a mechanical meatball. Thornweg as well. Oh dear.
I was even about to say that Thorn was doing well there to keep up the front. Because as we've seen in the past, when it says lightly wet, that's still wet weather. No, not even close to dry tyres. It's when it gets to very lightly wet status is when it's getting towards the crossover. So it definitely wasn't the right call to go to dryers at the moment. But he was doing well to hold it. But once he got on that painted stuff, he was a passenger, and unfortunately, it's put a blow to a couple of people's races.
It has, and have a look at how far out this field is going to spread here. Thornweger to pit lane, Thomas Cole off track. In comes Lachlan Shinkfield and back out again. Did Shinkfield have to serve has Shinkfield got to serve a drive-through, or is something else gone awry there for him? Is that a routine? Did he take the qualifying tyres? No, yeah, it's a stop and hold of 1.5 seconds and he's back out again. That's bizarre for Lachlan Shinkfield. Round goes Joe Hargraves. Oh my goodness. Jared Purcell, Thornweger, Martin Harvey, Ben Goring, all on pit road on the opening lap. There's Jacob McIntyre parked at turn 1. 13 wet runners, 12 dry runners I think I had, but Jared Purcell has now just changed to wets from the comfort of pit lane. Thomas Cole joins him on pit road. And again, if you are a dry weather tyre runner, as Cameron Dakin is, you're in a world of hurt for the next short while. I don't envy these blokes at the moment. It's such a difficult one, Dave, because we could easily sit here and make out critics about the whole situation. But until you're out there in that environment, you've got no idea what you're dealing with. And it's such... Joe Hargraves off the road again. It's such a gamble because you don't know how quick the track's going to dry off. If you haven't had a good enough read or investigation of the weather conditions, it's so easy to make the wrong tyre choice. Well done to the guys that got it right. Bad luck and good luck at the same time. Hold on tight to the guys that have made the wrong call here and have to live with the consequences, however severe they may be.
Yeah, it's pretty much you want to be on the right one, and that is on wets at the moment. It's just still way too wet for the slicks, and as we can see, it's just like you touch the curbs, you get on the TC the wrong way. Yeah. You look at the throttle the wrong way, and you ended up 180 off the track, and it's just just looking at it now, like we had. Probably out of the 28 runners, I think it was, we had like 11. Whoa. It was like 11 on wets, which is a crazy amount. Like you would think it'd be the other way around, but it's like just watching now. It's just like the wet weather guys are obviously filtering towards the top of the field, and it's just crazy that it's just still too wet to be on the slicks.
Yep. So Liam Amos, Cameron Dakin, Jacob McIntyre have all conceded defeat on the dry tyre strategy. They've gone to pit lane now to change over to wets. Cameron Dakin, Liam Amos, Jared Purcell have all done that. So only the mid portion of the field now. The guys running 12th down to 18th. Joe Hargraves, Alan McDonald to Joe Hargraves. They're all still on the dries. Everybody else is out there on the wets, with the exception of Nathan Harvey, who still finds himself on pit road and I think parked up for the balance of race number 1. And Ben Goring remains there as well. Let's have a look at some of the incidents so far. This was always asking for trouble. Thornweger too deep at turn 1, and he just found puddles and then gravel and then more puddles and grass, and he did well actually in amongst all of that cacophony that was going on behind him. But too deep at the first corner, and was only able to keep the lead momentarily with thanks to everything that unfolded behind him, starting with that. And how that wasn't a bigger incident when Nathan Harvey went spearing in front of the field, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, especially how with the track now, just narrow as the one
Absolutely. And then look at this on the exit. So, jeez. That's Warren Ibbott. So you're going to see a fair Thornweger in just a moment too. Watch this. Passenger on the water and then on the AstroTurf.
It's on that paint. It's this bad, yeah.
And everybody was left holding their breath.
And an invoice bill as long as the track.
I'd say so, and I dare say. There's nothing that Thorn could have done about that one. He was an absolute passenger. So I don't know if he'll wear an invoice from race control. Jacob McIntyre doesn't due to net code. Oh no, Lachlan Shinkfield just hugged the world. Snatched out from under him. So that explains why he came to pit lane to grab a fast repair. He was the one that Thorn collected in the outset. And even with that, he's been able to stay 11th. He's 5 seconds off the top 10 in an invert pole, but he's 11. Oh no, as we're live, Jackson Russ is off the road. Jackson Russ is off the road, Liam Amos. That was the replay from lap 1 and everything that unfolded there. But Jackson Russ has put it off the road. He was so good last week in the Porsches. There's no doubt about that. Joel Hansen was part of that parking lot on the opening lap. But Jackson Russ has now dropped to 4th place after putting it off the track in the stadium section of the circuit. Still 4 different manufacturers in the top 5. Stephen Gallacher, Greg Heaney, Joel Hansen, your running order at the moment. And as I say, Lachlan Shinkfield holding down 11th, but he's 4 seconds off the top 10, which is Jesse McMenamin right now. Let's have a look at this. Jackson Russ coming into the stadium section. Goodbye. Oh, bang. Whoa, big hit. Jordan Dagan, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 49.391. I'm not going to worry talking about lap count here because I don't think it'll be a factor. It says 5 of 13. Good luck getting there based on the current numbers.
I think we'll probably only get to 11.
Maybe 12.
Laps,
yeah, absolutely. Well, 1 minute 50 seems to be the threshold at the moment, so... For mine, that gives us 12, but we go 22 minutes instead of 21. Because 1 minute 50 and 2 is 3:40. 3:40 and 2 is 7:20, 7 minutes and 20 seconds, as opposed to 720 degrees. And then 3:40 on top of that gets you to 11. So 11 and 2 is 22, and we have plenty of leverage there to get that 12th lap started in that 21st minute. So I reckon we're only going 12. Keep an eye on that. In the meantime, Jordan Dakin sitting there in 8th spot. And there's no signs yet, Adam Labour. She might be able to help us out with this. There's no real signs yet to suggest that the track conditions are improving in any way, great shape or form. As El Presidente goes to the front of Stephen Gallacher. Greg Heaney leads at the HockenheimRing in Germany. Have a look at this. Whooshka up the inside on the exit. Oh no, you can see Stephen Gallacher out in the marbles, out in the dirt. That's not where you want to be. And Greg Heaney and Aston Martin could be a winning combination tonight. On that subject, never got back to finish the points. Dave, no Audis, no Acuras, and no BMWs out there in this field.
Yeah, it's interesting, no Beamers, because the Beamers actually, I've done pretty well with the Beamer around here in the past, and it's usually a pretty decent track for them.
Oh, big hit. Thomas Cole.
Yeah, that's an ouch.
Oh, yeah. That was on replay, by the way.
So, yeah, the Beamers usually go pretty well, because they're kind of, got decent speed, and they're also, kind of in that mid-pack, especially if you're doing like a drive, kind of enduro type race, they're usually pretty decent on sipping on the fuel as well. So usually can get a decent run out of them.
5-second penalty for Lachlan Shinkfield for the contact on Todd Suter on lap 3. So even if he does manage to finish 10th on track, and he's holding 10th now, he'll wear an invoice after the fact that might see him drop outside that, but he doesn't care because Jared Knight, just a bit too moist for me, lads, he says. Moist, interesting word that. Jared Purcell on the subject of Jared's. Got his hands full at the moment with the Wild Ride Motorsport entry. I'm just trying to pick these guys up. That's 16th, so 15th is Cameron Dakin just ahead. Liam Amos just in behind. Side by side they go on the run up towards the hairpin. Down the inside goes Dakin, up the outside goes Purcell, not yet. Everybody out there on wets now except for McDonald, Hodgkinson and Smith, and also Suter, Ivan and Hargroves, but they are paying the price as they are dropping down the order. The wet weather runners are just gobbling them up like they're standing still, and if the wet weather, oh no, wide goes Purcell, loses out to Smith and probably Amos as well. Amos will be up on his outside now as they come through the right-hander. Dakin holds down 14th. I want to come back and finish that point as they make their way through. Thornweggett sitting 21st at the moment. He spent 2 minutes and 10 seconds on the tow rope, of course. Oh, Christ, what was I up to? Heaney, Gallacher, Hansen, Russ and Akers the top 5. Buckman, Pedersen, Dakin, McManaman and Shinkfield the top 10. So Shinkfield's got a penalty hovering over his head, but it's not applied until after the race, after the second race. So he will, if he stays 10th, still hold his invert pole. In fact, he'll hold that anyway because he's just gone to 9th on McManaman, and they are already 10 seconds up the road from the next placed Neil de Bruin in 11th, who's got his hands full with, I guess, just trying to keep it on the black stuff. Because if he makes a mistake, he'll fall back into the clutches of this group, this gaggle of cars here. McDonald, Amos, Purcell and Hodgkinson. And, Amos and McDonald are through. Purcell through as well. Purcell gets through on McDonald.
It's the bad news for McDonald. That's actually the...
Greg just had an incident. Up the front.
Oh, he has too. Yeah. Sorry, Adam, you were going to say?
It's bad news for McDonald. He's tried to persevere, and the people who have hit it and swapped tyres have now overlapped.
Yeah. Even Shinkfield with the fast repair. He's still running 6th. That's how crazy this race is. 13 minutes gone. This was the moment for Heaney. Stadium section of the circuit, same place. No. The centre entry. Joe Hargraves. They were coming up to put a lap on him. And Heaney's got damage. Big damage. Pit road for Heaney. Well, can you believe this?
He's in and out. He's done a quick repair.
That is exactly what happens, Dave Oliver, when you've got guys out there just trying to brave it.
Yeah, it's just a matter, it's just an unfortunate accident there. It's just, poor Joe's just probably he's more concentrating on just trying to keep it straight and on the road. He just hasn't seen, or he's kind of reacted, try to get out of the way of Greg to kind of get out off the racing line. And then unfortunately, he's just, they've both gone to, the same direction at the last second. And it's just, not turned out well.
McDonald off the road. And here's Dakin back in 7th now. Heaney resumes in 6th, but I can't help but feel, Adam Lovis, as though he's going to feel like he's had a win just ripped straight out from under him.
Oh yeah, there's probably going to be a class report and sympathy for him tonight.
Oh dear, a glass or two with a beautiful whiskey. Gotta love that. Don't forget, folks, Platinum Split coming up, and it'll be interesting to see whether it's wetter or drier when we get there. I haven't seen the outlook, the long-range forecast for the day to suggest whether we're going to get wet weather for both races or dry weather for one and wet for the other. And it varies server to server. Joe Hargraves now, unsurprisingly, has a black flag showing next to his name. He's going to have to come to pit road. He's at risk of going 2 laps down at some point in this race if he doesn't come to pit lane and serve that penalty, or if he doesn't get out there and put the wet weather tyres on. He's persevering on the dries at the moment, and unfortunately, that's having dire consequences. Gallagher, Hansen. Okay, so for a sprint race, boy, gee, there's been a heck of a lot of pit lane activity. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 drivers have transited the lane. Nathan Harvey out of the race after spending 5 minutes on the tow rope at the start of the thing. Joe Hargraves, the latest to go to pit lane, that was at the end of lap 6, but he now has another black flag to serve, so he's got to come through at the end of lap 7 for him, and he's only just completing lap 7 now. Gallagher, Hansen, Russ, the top 3. 3 different manufacturers in the top 3 and 4 in the top 6 at the moment. 3 Fords, 4 Ferraris, 2 McLarens and an Aston in the top 10. And as Nathan Harvey said, yep, well, that was fun for half a lap. And Adam Lavis has just sent me the long-range forecast. Thank you, sir. Whoa, trouble! Dakin has been collected. Shinkfield goes through. Pedersen and McManaman go through. Dakin drops to 10th. Neil de Bruin will be the next one he has to worry about. This is how it happened, Dave. Let's have a look at this. He's just being collected here. Oh, dear. That's not a very pretty incident, let's be honest.
Unfortunate there. Just, got away. The Mustang just got... just didn't want to pull up.
And that's important to note. That was Martin Pedersen that turned him around. Shinkfield, the beneficiary of that, who's moved up into 7th. McManaman drops down into 9th and Dakin back in 10th now. It still has breathing space on Neil de Bruin. Round onto the main straight. This is lap 10. There's a 5-second penalty for Joe Hargraves for undue care, causing an incident with Greg Heaney. Well, I'm sorry, but Heaney's worn far more than 5 seconds, hasn't he? Having to come to pit lane. He's now 17 seconds off the leader is G Heaney. So, but that penalty is going to be circumstantial for Joe, who has spent an extra 3.5 seconds. Has driven through pit lane at the start of lap 7 there, and is now a lap and 3/4 down on Stephen Gallacher. Liam Amos off the track now as well, but gets back going. And Joe Hargrove still persevering on the dries. Obnoxiously, snobbishly so. Stubbornly so, I should say, not snobbishly, stubbornly so. I've chosen the wrong adjective there. 7.9 laps into the race for Joe. He's going to finish this race 2 laps down the way things are going. Still stubbornly pushing on the slicks, as are Scott Smith, Alan McDonald, Todd Suter, Cullen Hodgkinson and Warren Ivett. Interesting to note, boys, biggest movers and shakers, John Akers plus 16 up into 4th spot, and Martin Pedersen plus 11 up into 8th, possibly with an invoice to pay. McManaman and Dakin plus 16 apiece up into 9th and 10th. So Dakin needs to make one positional move here in the remaining couple of laps. We suspect there's only 2 to go at the line. Dakin and De Bruin. De Bruin's 23 seconds behind Dakin. Dakin's 4 seconds behind McManaman. So if Dakin can reel that 4 seconds in on McManaman. Patterson's off the road. McManaman now has most positions gained. That's plus 17. Get on the inside, John Akers. This is for 3rd. He's on the inside of Jackson Ross coming to the final corner. Can he get through on the inside? Roll! Akers had to back out of that to avoid certain contact with Jackson Ross. And we've got 2 to go at the Hockenheimring. That was good.
I was grimacing over that one.
I would have been too. Oh, jeez. That was hairy stuff. They got there, though. That's all that matters. Pedersen off the road. That opened the world up for McManaman, who goes through. Gee, Dakin's going to be filthy right now. He was plus 18 before that, or plus 17. 19, in fact, sorry. Because he had Shinkfield covered as well as McManaman and Pedersen before that incident with Pedersen happened. So he'll be filthy. The bonus for most positions gained falling by the wayside here.
It's actually interesting now. Like, even though the track is actually just slightly improved, I've been noticing that the slick runners, even though they're multiple seconds off the pace, the gap between what Joel's running, his last lap was 15.3, and all the slick runners before they were about 6-7 seconds off. And now you can kind of actually see there's a bit of a drier line in brackets starting to form, and they're only the fastest of Alan McDonald now is just cracked into a 54. So the track is improving. If the race was going to be another 20 minutes longer, they would start to catch up, but they're already a minute 30 behind, unfortunately. So it's it was just definitely the wrong choice of black rubber to start on.
And they're still going at it. This is a great scrap. So Russ is holding on. White flag in the air. One more time around. They won't get back to complete 13. We'll go white flag this time by. Barney is on deck, I hope. Yes. So the white flag beats us this time. Time certainly gets the better of this race, as it so often does when we throw water into the mix. Hanson's done beautifully for Wild Ride Motorsport. It's been a survival of the fittest sort of night. Gallacher has got a clear, comfortable second coming his way. Russ holding on for dear life here. Akers and Buckman making life difficult for him at the moment. So you've got the only Ford in the top 5 versus the Ferrari and McLaren as they run down to the hairpin the final time, Adam.
And Buckman's brought himself into this fight here, so they could... Lucky Sheffield was gone off in the background.
Correct. Shinkfield off the road, you've picked that up as well. And Russ is now under trouble as well. Down the inside, Akers, can he pull it up? Yes. No. Pedersen gets a 10-second penalty. He wasn't able to. Akers wasn't able to pull it up. Got to reset and go again. Pedersen gets a 10-second invoice after the fact. It'll only drop him 2 spots. It'll drop him behind Greg Heaney ahead of Lachlan Shinkfield. Last roll of the dice. Akers going for it again. This time, can he get it done? No. Russ on response. On the exit. Back up side by side. Back around the goal. There's the contact. It was inevitable. Akers around to the outside. Will lose out potentially now to Buckman. Russ is off the road. Drops down to 5th. But at the front to the victor go the spoils. It's been a wild and hairy sort of ride throughout the last 22 minutes, but at the end of the day, Joel Hansen prevails, and Wild Ride Motorsport are on top in race 1 of the silver split at the HockenheimRing in Germany. Fantastic! Stephen Gallagher in the second, John Akers, Mitchell Buckman and Jackson Russ the top 5. Buckman unable to get by Akers at the end. 2 Ferraris on the podium, 4 Ferraris in the top 10, 3 Fords, 2 McLarens and an Aston. Shinkfield grabs 10th, right with the finish line in view. He'll have the invert pole. It won't look like from John Akers' angle. And I dare say everything here is provisional. But I don't think Akers has a case to answer looking at that angle, Dave Oliver. He had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's just like, definitely watching from this aerial view. It's just didn't kind of have any room there. It just kind of got turned in on. So yeah, it's I'll leave that one up to leave that one up to race control.
Good luck to race control. They're probably doing some overtime tonight. I mean, we've already seen some overtime for the one of the only Josh Stuno on the back of Formula Renault 3.5. Now we're going to see some overtime for GT3, and they've still got a second race to adjudicate on. Madness. Absolute madness. And they're still coming to the line. The battles rage right down the order. So, Hansen, Gallagher, Akers, Buckman, Russ, McMenamin, Dakin, Pedersen, Hengeny, Shinkfield, Dakin, Amos. Oh, dive on the final corner. Time started at the 15th. And Hodgkinson up the inside as well. Then passed on Alan McDonald. The battle of the slick runners is won by Suter right with the finish line in view. Whoa! Hodgkinson relegated to 16th. In fact, stayed 16th in all of that. Alan McDonald was 15th going in. Suter is 15th coming out. Hodgkinson stays 16th. And then back to McDonald in 17th spot. We'll have a look at those finishing results again for you. Thornwiggett in for 8th. 18th rather. Steve Smith, I'm thinking cricket. Scott Smith in for 19th. Jesus. And Warren Ivett in for 20th. That was madness. Absolute madness. Over the page we go to those that finished a lap or 2 down or retired. Joe Hargraves 3 laps down in the end. Edward Rollo, also Ben Goring, Thomas Cole and Jacob McIntyre all a lap down, and that was a race that was decided purely and simply by tyre choice at the start. And when they're as chaotic as that, look out, hang on. Look at this. Dakin and Hansen have slid in here. Boys, let me tell you, you've got another race to go yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, no stress. We've got 5 minutes warm-up.
Very quickly, though, because we've got to get out of here and get over the other split. I was just about to get some thoughts from Dave Oliver on that, but get some thoughts from you. That was as chaotic comes, right?
Yeah, definitely. In the end, it was just right place, right time, and I think I was the only one in the top 10 that kept on the track. But I didn't think I had the pace, but watching car after car slide off definitely landed in my favour tonight.
Absolute madness. And Jordan, talk us through it from your standpoint, please. It looked like fun if you were on the wet tyre, and it looked like absolute torture if you weren't.
I actually failed to get a qualifying lap in, which I was absolutely burning about, as I've done all my practice this week in the wet. Hadn't touched any set of dries all week, and it just it panned out well for me. Yeah, a lot of people chose the dries, and it just ended up paying off in the end, all that practice in the wet.
And very rare that, Joel, and you'd stumble upon lap traffic in a sprint race only 21 minutes in length.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. I'm glad to see that most of the people that stayed out on dries ended up hitting for wet, so I was a little worried about running back into those, but it looks like most people ended up making the swap.
And you, among a few others, the beneficiary of some backmarkers causing incidents, some dry weather runners causing incidents. Poor old Lachlan Shinkfield got clean bowled by Thorn Weggett. I mean, it was all happening right from the outset. I've never seen anything quite like that. The Hockenheim wet weather, Q Chaos, it always seems to be a winning formula.
Yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot. I think we ran it in the Porsche maybe 2 seasons ago, and it was in the wet. I think it produced similar sort of behaviour on track, that's for sure.
Not sure what the weather's going to do for you boys in race 2, but where are the goalposts? What's the plan of attack?
I think I just need to take a breather. I think I'll just chill in whatever pack I'm in and just enjoy that race 1 win.
And what about you, Jordan?
I'm starting up the front somewhere, I think, maybe second row, or so it'll be interesting to see how we go, because I believe the second race is fully wet, and I seem to be tearing it up okay, I think.
Nice. Sean Benici not happy with an internet crash. Again, technical issues rearing their ugly head left, right and centre at the moment. And Miller Motorsport was wondering what happened and to cause the early departure there as well. Interesting stuff. Miller Motorsport confirming that they had a power outage earlier tonight as well, which is still hovering in the back of their mind. I know what that's all about. I hate power outages with a passion. You would think as the population booms and grows and we become more advanced with our infrastructure and evolution of technology and whatever else, and more demand on power because of air conditioners, this, that and the other, you would think that we'd be good at building the power grids to accommodate it all. No, I live in Queensland. As soon as it gets above 35 degrees and it's a public holiday and everybody's at home, I'm thinking Australia Day just quietly. Boom, the power grid just cannot handle it. So I can empathise with Miller Motorsport right there. Hey, boys, good luck. We don't have much of a post-race show tonight because Adam's got a very early start tomorrow morning, so we're pretty much running through the results, maybe 1 or 2 yarns and then getting out of here. But lovely to have you stop by. I'm glad that you knew it was a 5-minute warm-up, because normally it's only 2. I had no idea. Go well for the balance of the evening, and hopefully we'll catch up as the season goes on, yeah?
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it, mate. Cheers.
Final thoughts on all of that, Dave Oliver? It looked like fun.
Yeah, it's like one of the ones where it's like you kind of want to be in the action, but you kind of don't. It's like one of those ones. It's more the ones, if you're on the wets, it would have been mega. If you stayed on track, but it's just like, yeah, if you were on the slicks, it's wouldn't have been fun until kind of towards the end there, where you kind of start to get some grip.
Exactly right. I don't think there's real much point in us going for a break at this point in time, because I reckon pictures are going to come in from the pro split from the HockenheimRing in just a few moments. And those guys are nearing the end of their warm-up as well. I'm just having a look here, and the chance of precipitation is somewhat high as we hit the feature I'm hoping Adam sent me through the Platinum server, or if he didn't, he sent me through the server for the silver split, which we're just showing, but they're looking like a potential 75% chance of rain in their feature race. So as the boys said, looking like it'll be fully wet, which is a good sign for us from an entertainment standpoint. Now, we need to do some backtracking and some housekeeping for you, because we never got to run through these on Friday night, so abruptly did the broadcast end because poor old Trucker's soundboard just blew up deluxe. 4:15 for Andrew Dyson after another clinical sweep in the GT1 Civil War. He continues to lead the way there. Adam Funslow, 3:39. Thomas Senna, 3:24. 2:95 for Adam Lavis and 2:85 for Nathan Michael. Dougie Gowans, Martin Davis, Travis Azapati and Darren Laub with Brendan Grosh tied for 9th, round out the top 10. 164 points, I think that was. Did that say 415? Yeah, 415 to 251. So carry the one. 164 points covers the top 10 at the moment. Right, IndyCar. Poor old Adam Lavis got carved up by Dan Yeaman with the overtake of the year, I thought, towards the back end of this race, going down towards turn 9 out of turn 8. That was brilliant from him. Disruptive Loves, IndyCar, Road to Indy Series, the sweep of the season from Ethan Morris continues. Another pole, another win, another 0x race, 110 points. Tommy Donahue on 365, Adam Lavis 316, now Martin Davis 296 and 281 for Joe De La Rosa. Luke Page, Greg Heaney, just 1 point covers them. 260 for Stephen Bull, 222 for Drew Collins, and 215 for Nathan Michael make up the top 10. Dan Yeaman, 183 points. Just nipping at the heels there, having given it the entire pack a 2-round head start, and he sits 13th. It's interesting to note in all of that, 432 down to 10th, which is Nathan Michael, 215. Holy crap, that's 217 points already covering the top 10. That tells you the sort of domination that we're seeing from Ethan Morris at the moment. Right, we've got dry conditions here and cloudy conditions at the moment, but whether that remains the case for the race, we'll wait and see. We've got a 5-minute warm-up of which we're nearly at the end of. You know the circuit, you know the lay of the land. We'll have a look at those track and weather conditions in just a moment. Let's have a look at the championship points in the Platinum Split as we get ready for race 2 of round 5 of the season in the Waste Options GT3 series. Harrison Den Brinker, unbeaten run brought to an end last week. He leads the championship still, however, 391, 52 points clear of Bo Cubis. And then Sam Blacklock in third, Luke King, Luke Page. Then Nick Wood, Michael Whiting, Richard Mitchum, Tim Miles and Philip Worley, the top 10. So what do you got there? You got Ferrari, Ford, BMW, McLaren and Chev all in the top 10 at the moment. 3 Fords, 2 McLarens, 3 Ferraris, a Bimmer and a Chev making up the top 10 right now. Quality results? We don't have them at the moment, I'm sorry. Okay, we'll work on that. Actually, do we even have... Yes, we do have a grid, so we can get to that. And we don't have the sprint race results either. So let's just go to the grid and we'll backtrack from there if we can. Poor old Adam Davis, he's having some trouble here. Jason Wilkinson, Jeff Adams, Sam Blacklock. Oh, there we go. Sprint race win for Harrison Den Brinker after converting it from pole position as well over Bo Cubis, Reece Keane, Philip Worley, Sam Blacklock, Richard Mitchum, Luke King, Ryan Jones, hoping for a better run than what he had in Formula Renault 3.5, Bryce Young, and Darren Lobb, the top 10. Race 1. We do have it all now for you. Jason Wilkinson's going to lead the field to green on the invert here alongside Jeff Adams. It was Den Brinker ahead of Cubis, 4.6 the winning margin. Philip Worley, Richard Mitchum, Reece Keane, Ryan Jones, Darren Lobb, Sam Blacklock, Jeff Adams, Jason Wilkinson, the top 10 there. 23 seconds covered the 10. We've got dry conditions for this race, so Christ knows why. 37 degree track temp, 29 ambient, dry conditions, cloudy, 45% humidity, 29 the ambient, 37 on track. Northwesterly winds, 19 kilometres an hour at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Jason Wilkinson, Jeff Adams front row, Sam Blacklock, Darren Lobb second row, Ryan Jones, Reece Keane third row, Richard Mitchum, Philip Worley fourth row, Bo Cubis, Harrison Den Brinker from row 5. From 6, Michael Whiting and Luke Page, and 7 Eli Donaldson, and oh, there you go, Eli's back on a Monday night. Oh, there we go. Alongside Alan Dawson, John Wright, Ash Williams, Tim Miles, Luke King, James Stanton, and Young second. Then back to Bryce Young alongside Jordan Sears, Glenn Arnott, Vinnie Newer, Nick Wood, Eric Fenson. 26 competitors, 26 starters. Ready to rock and roll here. Clouds looming, but so far cloudy and dry on circuit. So we're ready to rock and roll on slicks. No uncertainty here, D. Oliver. Let's get stuck into it. This is going to be good fun. Wilkinson and Adams the front row. It's Ferrari front 2 rows on the inside, Ford front 2 rows on the outside, and then 2 Ferraris, a Ford, a Chev, a Bimmer, a Ferrari. So Ferrari dominate the top 10 here, closely followed by Ford, BMW and Chev. We get ready to rock and roll for 37 minutes from the HockenheimRing in Germany, and off the front, looking up the outside, Ash Williams maybe jumped the start. Whoa, contact and trouble at 1. Harrison Den Brinker, the championship leader, has been turned around and is in the wall on the opening lap. And that is a game-changing moment for this series. The first of 22 laps. We're reliably informed that Williams is going to wear a penalty and all of that as well. Oh, more trouble. More trouble, Ash Williams now. It doesn't matter. Oh, no, that's ugly. Messy. Philip Worley off, Glenn Arnott as well. And now it's on at the front. Blacklock down on the inside of Wilkinson for the lead at the hairpin. On the exit, Wilkinson's wide. He's going to get gobbled up into sitting duck. That's 3 wide. It's Adams and Jones on the inside. Jones, you get up there, son. Have a clean run for once. To the inside, he couldn't get by Jeff Adams on the run to the arena section. Now we'll have a second crack on the inside. Squeeze job. Forceful. Got it. And Adams got to hang out to dry. Mitchum capitalises on that as well. 3 Ferraris, 3 Fords in the top 6 at the moment. Blacklock leads them through. Jonesy in no man's land. Oh, trouble. Big trouble. Big hit. In the wall. And that was John Wright. I reckon there was another one that clouded the wall on the left. I was almost going to cloud the wall on the left-hand side as well.
Like 10 miles.
Thank you, good pick-up. I thought it was. I didn't want to call it without certainty. And Granada with a mechanical meatball. Did Williams jump the start? Did we confirm that or not? Dan Brinker's rejoined in 21st position. Across the line we go. One lap done. And what an action-packed lap it was. Something about sprint racing at the Hockenheimring, boys, always delivers the goods.
Yeah, it's like where we had like a chaotic start with the mixed tyres in that first sprint race. Like, it's just like these, obviously, you know, these are the top guys, and it's just like the intensity level's just gone from about an 8 to about a 12. It's just crazy just how much intensity's just gone up, and just, you know, just by taking away the rain and stuff, you know, the guys are just fully at it, which is amazing to see.
Round they came onto the main straight. Tim Miles. Let's watch this off the start. Yeah, one to the inside, one to the outside. It was the one on the outside that jumped the start.
Yeah, Tim Miles on the outside there. He's obviously passed before the control line, so that will be a pen.
Was Tim Miles on the inside, or was Tim? Yeah. No, Ash. Was it Ash Williams on the outside? He's on pit road anyway. But let's have a look at this. I think it was Ash Williams on the outside. Yeah, watch this. He's gone way too early. He's tried to get the run up the outside. 1, 2, 3, 4. It was on track for about +8 until that incident there where Harrison Den Brinker got vaulted. Exit stage left. He just got sent.
I think, yeah, especially with Harrison being sent to turn on there. This will be an interesting one to see how his strategy plays out for the rest of this race. So I'll keep an eye out on him and just kind of watch to see if he jumps in early to try and get some clear air and try and do a big undercut.
Vinny Newen, I just saw your comment there right on the screen. I didn't have a chance to read it out for everybody at home. If you didn't catch it, yes, the warm-up lap wasn't exactly Vinny's best friend in the formalities leading up to the start of the second race there. So no second race for Vinny Newen tonight, parked up and done before we even got going, which is unfortunate. Lap 3 of 22 here, and considering that it's dry, we should go full race distance. Sam Blacklock, Jason Wilkinson, Ryan Jones, Ferrari, 1, 2, and 3 at the moment. If you don't mind, Bryce Young already up 11 spots, Dane Snadden up 8, Eric Fenton up 14, Nick Wood up 11. They're all the big movers down the order. And they're all beneficiaries of the garbage that unfolded earlier on for Ash Williams and Phil Worley and Glenn Arden. Am I right in saying that they don't have a fast repair to fall back on, Adam?
No fast repair sprint race for the pros.
Correct. They're done. Yeah, that's it. Night done. So, yeah, that's 3 of them rubbed out of it. Plus Vinny, we're down to 22 already. Bo Cubis also caught up in that garbage early on. The other championship contenders. So both Den Brinker and Cubis on the back foot early in the feature race here. Den Brinker's the big story though, because see, this reeks similarities to Detch, right? Detch would just come out and go win, 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 sweep the floor with everybody, clean up, thanks for coming, dump it up. Right? And then
thank you, man.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Okay. I'm now joining 2 and 2 together there. The Mr. A. Willie is Mr. Ash Williams. I've just joined 2 and 2 together. Thank you, sir. I was trying to work out who the hell Willie was. Now it makes sense. That used to be a nickname, I think it still is, among many kids for their genitalia, isn't it? So I wasn't 100% sure where we were going with that. But no, it's Ash Williams. And yeah, correct. Unfortunately, you're right. It was your own fault, but it wasn't to be, mate. Bad luck. Great launch. Just a little bit too jump the gun early for the liking of the iRacing powers that be. It was a killer start, if only it was a legal one. Like 4 and 22. I can't remember the point I was going to make there. D. Oliver. It's an interesting one. Some big beneficiaries in all of this. It's a championship game changer when these guys don't have a fast repair to fall back on. Put a line through them, Denbrinker and Cubis. Denbrinker reeks similarities to Denchi in the sense that for a long while there, it's something that he's worked on in recent times, but for a long while there, sprint racing and Dench just were not friends. That was his Achilles heel.
Yeah, it's always a tricky one. It's just like, because the intensity and everything just kind of gets turned up, and it's just, you know, the racing just kind of just never kind of settles into that rhythm where like a normal 40-minute or an enduro does. So it's just like, it's always up there, and it's sort of, like, personally, I kind of never really liked the races as much as they were fun. It was just kind of, I definitely did like the kind of the longer ones where you can kind of get to breathe, you know, you kind of get to breathe a little bit and then kind of work on strategy and all that kind of stuff. So it's always, the sprint racing was always a little nervy, especially when you're kind of up in the championship hunts there, where it's kind of like, you know, any little thing there could potentially kind of, you know, ruin your night or ruin your championship.
Okay, yeah, there's also a 5-second penalty coming the way of Ash Williams. I just heard that in my earpiece. Lethal Lee Williamson in race control tonight, and he will be ruthless as well. But it won't matter any to Ash Williams because he's already done for the night, and now he's going to go back to reacquaint himself with the rule book as well. And if you're wondering as well, does green not mean go, says Brody McConkie. So they're both asking the same question. Adam Wavis, user handle Restream in our comments section for the verification of anybody wondering at home who the hell's Restream. That's at the end of Adam Wavis, where all of this is coordinated, of course. So, Adam, you might be able to verify exactly what, because we've seen this before in IndyCar. As soon as the green flag flies, NASCAR as well, green, good, off you go. Different circuits, different rules, different racing series, different rules. How does the GSRC adjudicate it, please?
So the issue is iRacing is fundamentally their rule books based on NASCAR rules, which are no rules, let's be honest.
Yes.
So that's why they only pin you if you pass on the inside on ovals. If you pass on the outside, apparently that's allowed. But as for any road course series in the world, with a restart, you can't pass before the control line. So you got to hold position to the control line, unless there's an obvious issue with the car ahead.
Right. Yeah. So and that basically is verifying what Brody McConkie says. So if the car ahead drops, can't grab the gear or something like that, yeah.
A slightly bad start is not bad enough. If they actually have an issue or a proper issue where checking out to cause more incident, then it's arguable. But just getting a better launch than them is not redeemable for jumping the start.
Yeah, fair enough. It's an interesting one. I don't know how to feel about that because I get where you guys are coming from, and I get where NASCAR's coming from, in the sense that I would more like to see, and I don't want to get into the politics of it, but since we're ripping the Band-Aid off and we're having the discussion, we may as well. See, in my viewpoint, Dave, I've always understood the restart procedure because that is a yellow flag, neutral situation. Rip the Band-Aid off once you get to the control line, have at it, right? But hold station until then. At the race start, I would kind of like to agree with the boys whereby if it's green, have at it, just go.
Yeah, it's always a bit of a tricky one with that one. Yeah. You'd kind of, in your head, it's like, yep, let's get going. But it's exactly. Just like, sometimes it's like, sometimes it's actually easy and safe and kind of just to wait that little bit. But it's obviously depending on the track and stuff. But, you got, there's, the rules we've got to play by. And it's just, sometimes, that just isn't what the head wants to say. But obviously, you just got to work within the boundaries that we've been set.
Indeed. All right, interesting stuff. Let us know your thoughts in the... Actually, I don't need to say that. You all will anyway. There'll be a poll on very shortly in our comment section. Great to have your company wherever you're tuning in. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Monday Night Motorsport. Dave Oliver and I never got to have a chat during the Race 1 to Race 2 changeover because there was no intermission, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, stick around after the fact, mate. I've got some news to slide your way. As I was partway through saying earlier, watch this space with regards to some big news breaking in Australian motorsport later this week, ladies and gentlemen. I can't say much more than that at the moment. Personally, I think that rule should be looked at, and that's the kind of discussion I like having, right? Because, I mean, the rule book has been set, but that doesn't mean that it's not there to be reviewed and tweaked and tuned at some point along the way. I don't envy. I said to Dale Sharp a couple of weeks ago, he's finding out how difficult committee life is, right? How full on it is. I don't envy him, because trying to keep that amount of blokes happy, a very hard ask, a very hard task. Good luck to you. But in this particular instance, I think there's reasons why you could argue both ways of the argument. At the moment, we race to the rule book until such time. And let's be honest, Adam, how many times have we gone back and the rule book has been tinkered with over the course of the last 6 years?
Every now and then, but it's more like with these other clubs being gentlemen, it's more of a safety issue. Because like with rolling starts, people the problem with iRacing is like it doesn't really give you it also doesn't give the race controller guys a clear indication of when the green drops in the replay file. So it's much harder for them to then adjudicate whether someone's anticipated or dropped the start on a rolling start. So
Trouble.
So
that was Jeff Adams trying to get down on the inside. I'm just trying to work out who he was on the inside of. I think it was Jason Wilkinson, and he drops back down to 6th. Adams, sorry, I had to jump in there. Jason Wilkinson. I think Jeff Adams might have a case to answer there. Good luck, Lethal. He's got more work to do. Go for it, mate.
Yeah, so because of that, keeping the rules the same for restarts and race starts where you can't pass the car in front to the draw line, it just keeps it above board for all start users, and also gives it an easier and fairer playing field for race control to be able to adjudicate when someone does do a breach.
Your thoughts, Dave?
Sorry. It's always, I don't know, it's just, a bit tricky with that, but obviously, it's, we're half running with the oval stuff and all that. But, just slightly off topic, Harrison has just pitted. So, he's pitted about a 9-second stop. So, he's, definitely pulled the pin early, and Luke King's also currently in the lane. So, it'll be interesting now to see how Harrison goes, and if he pulls the trigger and kind of gets a jump on those kind of cards at a distant point.
Top 20 yet to stop. That's point number one. Point number two, Philip Worley, the only one of the four that stopped earlier in the piece through incidents and other misfortunes to have got back out on the track. He is 2 laps down, but out of 22 laps, he can be 5.5 laps down and he'd still be, he could be 5 laps down and still be classified. So he's out there purely to clean up the points or claim whatever points he can. If you pass before the green light, iRacing will automatically give you a penalty, says Brodie McConkie. Now, that's an interesting one as well. So, 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. Plenty of schools of thought on that one, and I'm sure it's a topic that will be discussed at length in the not too distant future, because it's rare that we see instances like that rear their head, but now they have. Let's have the discussion. I'm interested to see what everyone else thinks going forward on that. Not trying to make make life more difficult or give them any extra work for our devoted committee personnel who are the tireless and thankless. The tireless custodians of the thankless jobs of the club. As Eli Donaldson on the comeback try gets down on the inside of Michael Whiting, and that's for position number 7. Nicely done, Eli. Back up into 7th, now up 6 spots in this race alone. 15.5 minutes into the feature. A lot to look forward to tonight on the platform for the GSRC. We're out of here about 10:15, by the way, tonight, folks. We've got to get out of here because our good mate Adam Lavis has an early start, so there won't be the elongated post-race show that we've enjoyed the last few weeks. And next week, there'll be no post-race show at all because we go enduro mode, 90 minutes, the first enduro of the season. We're off to the Circuit de la Sarre, and that will be in France, Dave Oliver, and we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, sorry, Alan Dawson's coming to his pit, but I noticed as he was entering, he actually ran wide and cut over the painted like triangle thing, and I reckon
I reckon you're right.
Him a massive penalty, which I have accidentally succumbed to before. So he's still in the pits. He's been in his box now for a minute.
Yeah,
so,
and still there. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, right there.
Right there. So this is the thing, like the Nurburgring, you cannot stray left of that line. If you clip any of that green, you're gone. Regardless of the results of that second race, we really enjoyed the first one, and we'll be back for more. We look forward to seeing you back, Ash. Thank you for that. I agree with Brody McConkey. It's incredibly hard. Well, I mean, I did argue sheepishly on air a couple of weeks ago with Sharpie that it would be easier to do it with a set of blokes than it would be a set of Sheilas, but that's another story. But yes, you're right. It's not an easy job, and our crew do a magnificent job. Eric Fenson's got a black flag, incidentally, boys, so I'm not sure what that's all about. Fenson's racked up the incident points, and we're only at lap 11, up 16 spots towards the Ford Mustang, but that's where his charge comes to an end. Alan Dawson's still on pit road after minute 52, so that's a more terminal problem now for him. I reckon he's parked up and done. But yeah, it's the same as the Nurburgring, and this is why I thought Stephen Bull might have been in a little bit of trouble there earlier. Thank you for the back up on that. The reality of the matter is that if you are not wholly and solely within those white lines, they throw you out, they turf you out. Every track has their trip up point, and the German tracks and Fuji in Japan are imperilously strict and stringent when it comes to the pit lane entrance rules and protocols. I mean, there's a couple of other circuits that we could probably add to that list, Adam Lavis, but they're the three that stand out for me.
I just noticed Eric Fenson's also got a black flag.
I just said that, yeah. I'm not sure what for. Incident points, I think.
Unless the only thing it could be is incident points, or he hasn't set a slowdown.
Correct. Michael Whiting into pit lane, and Fenson now on pit road as well. That'll be to clear the black flag. Dane Snadden's moment was coming into the final corner. Oh yeah, there it is. Snapped it. And he was a passenger. But he caught it well on the drop 3 spots. Goes to pit lane now. Plenty happening out there. Eric
Fenson had just a drive.
And by the way, just before anyone gets hold of me and tries to cancel me, the above was not a sexist remark. I grew up with 2 younger sisters, right? I know of how I speak, right? I'm making the statement and I'm backing it up. That went bad early, said Philip Worley. Yes, it did, mate. And bad a second time by the looks of that, because you parked up a second time. So what was the cause of the second incident? I'd like to know. In the meantime, Jeff Adams there in 3rd place. Do you like the new colour scheme on the graphics, ladies and gentlemen? The platinum colour with the green numbers. Adam was hard at work a couple of weeks ago, changing all of our GT3 servers over to accommodate the change from what was Pro-Am and Am over into Platinum, Gold, Silver and Bronze. The graphics have come up an absolute treat, so we hope you're enjoying them.
Sorry. Just looking back, Eric Fenson, oh my goodness, he's going to be like livid. As he's come in to clear his black flag, he's done exactly what Alan Dawson's done and cut that white line. So he's gone to clear it, and then I think once he's gone through to clear it and didn't clear, or it's given him the additional penalty, and he was just rage quit. And it's just like,
he's done
so bad.
59.68 seconds he was on pit lane 4 as well. The gold fork, no intent wrecks so far this week. Not sure. I just circulated to be ahead of the lap cars. No point wobbling around in getting in the way after that. Yeah, that's fair. Pity they didn't feel the same way in the silver split earlier in the evening. Let's have a look at this lap. 13:22, 20 and a half minutes gone. Blacklock Jones. Look at the lead for Sammy Blacklock, 7.3 to the good. But what's interesting is Jeff Adams, Michael Whiting, Harrison Dembrinka, Dane Snadden, they've all stopped already. The margin is you've got what have we got? About 11 seconds, 12 seconds between Adams and Snadden, and only 5 between Adams and Dembrinka. Adams probably has an asterisk next to his name after that run-in with Jason Wilkinson earlier in the piece. Wilkinson's recovered to be in fifth. 5 Ferraris in the top 10 at the moment, a Ford, a Bimmer and 3 McLarens. We're only part way through the pit cleanse right now. I feel as though I've missed a comment in all of that, Ash, so I apologise. But thank you. The fact that it's cracked McConkey up and you've then come back in and said I probably should have said that means that there's something I haven't seen, which I need to go back and have a look at, and I'll do so at a later point in time. Richard Mitchell to pit lane right now, and Luke King around the outside in 19th. It's a crazy Monday night to start the month of August for us on the platforms of the GSRC. Hope you're enjoying our coverage live, exclusive and free, wherever you're tuning in around Australia, across Facebook and YouTube, or right around the world, in fact. Brody McConkey, it may have been deleted by, yes, so if Adam can slide that comment my way so I can have a look at it, if he's still got hold of it, that would be great. And we'll go from there. Very, very good. I started it, yes, I probably did, yes. I'm now adding 2 and 2 together, thank you. And thank you to you boys, because the restream in only, what have we been on air for, 2 hours and 5 minutes, has now reached 100 messages and comments and remarks and whatever else in total. Oh dear. There's never a dull moment in here, Dave. We always have a lot of fun, and to be fair, we wouldn't be here if we weren't.
Absolutely. Just looking at Harrison's progress, like at the moment he's 17th, but he's only at the moment about 6 seconds behind Mitchum. So he's definitely his progress is definitely going to be probably into maybe the back end of the top 10 by the end of the race. So it could he's set the last lap was the quickest out of everyone, and he's also currently got the fastest lap of the race. So he's definitely on a mission, and it'll be interesting to see how it goes once this top 12 cycles through their pit stops.
And it's interesting to note that they are leaving it as late as they are. 13, 12, 11, and now 14 for John Wright. And we are on lap 15 and still no sign of pit lane activity from the top 12. Very, very good. Ryan Jones holding down second at the moment. Reece Keane, his teammate, chasing him. DPR sitting second and third at the moment. And having now just found our YouTube stream, I would hazard a guess that, yes, Mr. Williams has remarked that I can't see has been exited stage left. No, I haven't. No, I would hazard a guess that YouTube has just said, you know what, we're not letting that slide. In they come, Brian Jones and Reece Keane to second and third to pit lane. And we're on lap 16 for the leader, Sam Blackrock, Jason Wilkinson, Bryce Young, Eli Donaldson, the top four. Ferrari 1, 2, 3 here right now as we continue the feature. Only 7 laps to go. Good showing this from Ferrari. I mean, obviously, Dan Brinker's demise, the disappointment of that feature race after pole position and the race 1 victory. Good recovery so far. Not going to probably get a chance to finish it off, quite frankly, here, Dave Oliver. But Ferrari, once again, showing that they're the dominant force, the dominant manufacturer in this series. And it's not just Dan Brinker doing it, but Blacklock as well.
Yeah, just like you just have to look at it. You know, last few laps there, it was just it's the top 6 were all Ferraris. So you know they're definitely a good car to drive, and it's just seems to be suiting the tracks that we're running this season. And obviously, once you get these quick boys behind a car that is obviously, may have had the iRacing mop sprinkled over the top, a little bit of, the old Uncle Roger MSG style. It's, definitely the flavour of the month or the season kind of thing, and it's, be a nice quick car to drive.
Indeed. I think 7 laps until. Hello, Turtle. Yeah, he won't take too long to be out of here. Late dinner for him, but still one that he'll enjoy once this race is done. Eli Donaldson continues on for a 17th lap in this stint, whereas everybody else heads for pit lane right now. Luke Page, the only one yet to commit. Now he does. So it's 8 drivers onto pit road on this lap alone. Blacklock, Wilkinson, Lobb, Cubis, Young, Miles, Wood and Page. Page for Whiskey Business Racing, of course. Donaldson back out. Blacklock a clear second at the moment, but that will be first on corrected order. Ahead of Ryan Jones. Richard Mitchum up into third. Has got ahead of Reese Keane. Have a look at the gamesmanship going on here. Dan Brinker, what a recovery this is. Back up into 7th, +3.
Yeah, it was amazing just watching the results graphic there. It was just like Harrison was 14th before that top group. And you could just see him just cycling, just going ting, 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 all the way up there. And as you pointed out, with his teammate there behind him, kind of giving him that little bit of room there. It's a little bit of gamesmanship, but obviously, when you've got your teammates and stuff, you've got to help out where you can, because that might come around and help you, later down the line.
Oh, down the inside, that's Bryce Young for 9th. Throw Michael Whiting. That's the Ignium Motorsport entry on the Fishy Motorsport entry. Great to have Fishy Motorsport back part of the furniture here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and now it's forceful. Whiting and Young. Young back down on the inside, blocking the way through for Whiting, and hold on the 9th. That was good stuff. +12 for Bryce Young so far. Eli Donaldson to pit lane. That cleanses the field. It's Ferrari 1, 2, 4, Ford 2 and 5 at the moment. On corrected order as Eli Donaldson hits the jacks. Now, how long a stop will this be? 6.85, the smallest of anyone of the top 10. It's 7.9 on my screen, 8.1 on yours. So that's all good. Out he comes and he sits 6th. So he slides in behind Jeff Adams. Still no word as to whether or not Jeff got an invoice for that incident earlier in the race. Down the outside, Donaldson's going to potentially lose out here. Dan Brinker sweeps around the outside to go 6th. That's why he's the championship leader, ladies and gentlemen. Turn 1, lap 1 in all sorts of strife, and has recovered to 6th, and he's only 12.3 seconds off the leader. This is an extraordinary fight back from him. And now Mitchum on the outside of Keane. Sorry, Keane and Jones, I should say. So this is exciting because this is for second in the motor race. It's Jones under relentless pressure from Mitchum. The outgoing champion, if things stay as they are for Harrison Dembreaker, and Jones is making life extremely difficult for Mitchum. To the outside he goes. The switchback is on. No! Jones covers it off beautifully, and Mitchum has to reset and go again. Ferrari seems to be the car to have this season, the car to beat, but Mitchum, I dare say, will be throwing everything at this to try and upset the apple cart. Just to try and allow the Mustang to punch above its weight. Jonesy hasn't put a foot wrong in this race. It's got a lot better for him than what the form of the Renault 3.5 race did at the start of the night, where he was clean bowled on lap 1, turn 1. Round onto the main straight, 4 to go at the Hockenheimring. The German doubleheader on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and Blacklock leads by 6.7 seconds. The sooner he finishes, the sooner he can cook that dinner. So he's in a rush to get home. He's not going to allow these boys an invitation to get back into it. Down the inside, Mitchum on Jones. No, not yet. DPR versus Vermilion. There's no love lost between these big heavyweight teams. And they are 1, 2, 3 at the moment. Logitech, DPR and Vermilion. Good to see a couple of Wild Ride Motorsport entries in the top 10 as well. Punching above their weight this season, holding their own against these top 3. that have been synonymous with the platforms of the GSRC for so long. And look at this, the racecraft. But it's inviting Reece King back into the mix. So all of a sudden, Mitchum's going to have to contend with teammates front and rear here, Dave Oliver, and he's going to have his work cut out for him. Down the inside, big dive bomb. Now on Jones. And they're both wide, and here comes Reece King to clean it up. No, Jones holds on for now. And Mitchum has to reset and go a third time. Mitchum gets the run. He's up alongside Jones. This will be side by side on the run to the stadium section. Thank you very much, says Richard Mitchum. And Jones, he says, not just yet, my friend. To the outside goes Reece King now, as Mitchum goes from attack to defence mode extremely quickly. Oh, DPR. They're the bread. Mitchum's the meat for Vermilion. 3 to go. What a scrap. This is the sort of racing we arrive and hope to see on a Monday night, Dave Oliver. This is great.
This is actually amazing to watch. And, yeah, if they keep on battling this hard, I don't want to insert the Jaws music here, but you've got Jeff Adams and Harrison, only a couple seconds behind
not
here,
yet, not yet.
And they could be if these guys keep on battling for the next 2 and a bit laps, 3 laps. These guys, Jeff there is only one little mistake from behind, and then obviously Harrison's continually still setting fastest laps, or last lap fastest laps here.
Whoa.
He could be right on there.
Look at the defence mode. King down the inside. He wants a piece of it now to make life doubly difficult for Mitchum. Not going to work. But it's given Jonesy a little bit of a breathing space, a little bit of a buffer to play with. Through they go. Mitchum's not going to attack this time through. He has to just reset and think about it. He's still got 2 laps after this one to have another crack. And all the meanwhile, Blacklock's lead is ballooning out almost 9 seconds to the good now. 2 to go next time by the line. We're good for full race distance. Mitchum holds sway in third. Jonesy fighting for dear life in second. King nearly had 2 wheels in the dirt. Mitchum dives deep around the outside for the up and under on the exit. No, that's not going to work either. Jonesy closes the door. Where is Mitchum going to be able to get this move done? And this just proves, boys, how difficult it can be to overtake at this circuit. Mitchum has thrown everything at this and still yet to find a way through. 2 to go. If it was you, Dave, where would you be making the move?
Yeah, it would have to be somewhere where you could surprise. Obviously, there's the well-known, you got, say 2 in the hairpin, and also into 8 in the arena section. The thing is, you just got to surprise him and get a run like that.
What about the outside? Through turn 2, put himself on the inside for 3. Here comes King to push him along. Jonesy a sitting duck on the inside, but he'll have the line for 4. Mitchum with side draft puts his nose in front.
Here we go.
Under brakes, who's the deepest? Who's the bravest? Here comes Jones, contact. And they're both off. Reece King to second, thank you very much. And just as Dave Oliver said, here comes Jeff Adams and Harrison down Brinker. The 2 DPR teammates are side by side. It was almost as though they planned it. Reece King to second. Jones into the outside, to the inside to try and get that position back. No. And now Mitchum is fighting for dear life just to get on the podium, let alone second.
Yeah,
here we go.
They need to sort themselves out here because that...
Oh, contact gone. There it is. Mitchum's gone. Jones is gone. Jones is in the gravel. Oh, my goodness gracious me. You had to see it coming. It had been brewing for laps. Mitchum in the dirt. Mitchum drops out of the top 10. And that's more work for Lee Williamson to do after the race. White flag flies and Sam Blacklock has 1 to go with a lead now. Almost 12 seconds to the good.
And Jeff and Harrison have now jumped to 3rd and 4th with a lap to go.
Let's have a look at this too, by the way, because Jonesy's recovered for 5th. But I reckon there's going to be more about that come to light after the race and after we're off air. So this is all provisional once they hit the line, folks. Dan Brinker's sitting there in 4th place. He's good for 3rd here if he can get the run on Jeff Adams, who still has an asterisk with regard to that early race incident as well. I haven't seen anything with regard to that just yet. Down the inside goes Dan Brinker. That is for P3. What a recovery for the championship leader. Back onto the podium. Can he make a late one, John Rees-Keane? I think he might be out of time. And Sam Blacklock will be just up the road, calmly, peacefully going about his business. None the wiser as to the schmozzle unfolding behind him. And he is into the stadium section for the final time to put himself and Logitech G-Orbit Drop Air Motorsport back on the top step of the summit in the Waste Options GT3 Platinum Split with a clinical performance here in the sprint feature at the Hockenheimring in Germany. It'll be his first race win of the season and his second podium finish as well. To the start-finish line across there he goes, and Sam Blacklock reigns supreme in a race. Action full of life, full of drama at the Hockenheimring in Germany. Job done. Rees-Keane is the second. Harrison Dan Brinker third. After their exit stage left on the opening lap. Jeff Adams, Eli Donaldson, Ryan Jones and Jason Wilkinson. Donaldson got Jones on the final lap. Wilkinson, Young, Whiting, Lobb and Wood, and this is how it all happened. Bang! Oh! Jeff Adams straight into the back of Jonesy as the knock-on effect as he got checked up. Jones finished 6th. Wilkinson, Young, Whiting, Lobb, Wood and Cubis with Mitchum in 13th. Thoughts on that, Dave?
Yeah, it's a bit of a big one. I really kind of have to take this one for now. Just like Ryan's, come across, but expecting probably Mitchum to kind of be a little bit more narrow into the corner there, and he's just obviously tried to squeeze in a little bit, but it's, I think, Richards kind of, just kept the car straight there, and it's just hit him in that awkward spot where it's just, gone and turned the car around. It's just, it's just, if they had just sorted, like if both the, Keane and Jones had sorted themselves out 2 corners earlier, none of that would have happened, because they'll still fighting each other, just before that. If they had have quickly just made a call, and it's easy to say from the commentary box, but it's just like, if they were just able just to quickly get in line and go, none of that would have happened.
I just need to backtrack and tidy a couple of things up there. It was his 3rd podium finish of the season. My apologies. I was right that it was his first win, but I said second. No, he's had 2 second-place finishes prior to that. We need to ask about race 1 in just a moment as well, Sammy, because it's only +2 on our sheet, and that was what threw me, because I think I was about to say second podium finish of the night, and then I've had to redress that because I only saw +2 next to your name, which gives you 8th for race 1 with a starting position of grid 3 for race number 2. So we'll come back for that in just a moment. In the meantime, there it is, 12.032 seconds to the good, purely because of all the, what going on behind him. Have a look at that. What a recovery from Harrison Dan Brinker. That's the save of the season as far as I'm concerned. The get-out-of-jail-free card that he desperately needed tonight. Jeff Adams, Eli Donaldson, Ryan Jones. All of that provisional. There's a bit going on there. Adams with an asterisk after that early race incident with Jason Wilkinson, who finished 7th. Ryan Jones in 6th. Bryce Young, Michael Whiting and Darren Lobb, the top 10. Nick Wood, Bo Cubis, Richard Mitchum, then back to Tim Miles, Dane Snadden, Luke King, Luke Page, Jonas Dagan, Jordan Sears and John Wright in 20th place. Before I get to Sammy Blacklock, I guess the only surprising thing in all that, Dave, was that it didn't happen a lot sooner, everything erupting the way that it did.
Yeah, and it's kind of like, you just said that, the initial, turn 1, lap 1 thing with Harrison heading off into the runoff there, and then that kind of just lit that fuse, kind of, for the, a bit of the stuff towards the end there. But it's just the other guys there, obviously the battling was hard, but it was just it was an amazing, it was a great race to watch, but it's just it was just, I definitely would have liked to be in Sam's position, just kind of cruising off, getting his Uber Eats order ready to go, and just wondering when he was going to have some tea there. But it was a good one. Sorry.
Okay, let me tidy a couple of things up here before we go any further. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the feature race from the Silver Split, Adam? Oh, thank you. Sorry, I'm only looking at the data. I should be looking at a little bit of detail at the top. Thank you. The Silver Split for you. Jordan Dakin, Lachlan... I didn't realise you could do that. How fancy. Jordan Dakin, Lachlan Shinkfield, Liam Amos, Jesse McManaman, Cameron Dakin, Jared Purcell, Stephen Gallagher, Mitchell Buckman, Greg Heaney, Todd Suter. A lot of the same names you saw appear in the top 10 in the earlier race as well. They did have full-blown wet conditions for that second race, as you can see there. They only got to 20 laps. The fastest lap at 1 minute 49.237. Oh, my goodness me. But we'll get the results from the other splits in just a few moments' time. In the meantime, let's bring them in here. Actually, no, hang on. We have GT3 Gold results for you. Quali, David Kirby, Mike Smith, Daniel Piper, Chris Miller, and Doug Gallant's the top 5. Brad Coates, Troy Maguire, Paul Wood, Tom Hornby, and Matt Schmidtke. Schmitty, the Schmitty, in the top 10. Well done. Good stuff. Race 1. Paul Wood. Woodsy back on top of a GT3 race. How nice to see. Tom Hornby, then Jacob Hughes, Anthony Cuthbertson. Good to see him back. Andrew Neal in the top 5. We'll catch up with him on Thursday. Richard King, Rodney Golan, Brad Coates, David Kirby, and Matt Schmidtke. Again, highlighting how difficult overtaking was. The fact that Kirby's gone from first place back to 10th there on what appeared to be a drying circuit, or 9th, I should say. Second race feature. Richard King, Rodney Golan, I should say. Rodney Golan, Richard King, David Kirby. So he got on the podium in the end curves. Matty Schmidtke from pole back to 4th. Andrew Neal, Troy Maguire, Joel Farley, Doug Gowans, Tom Hornby, and Jacob Miller. Those guys also having a wet race to contend with there in the feature. Did anyone get a dry feature apart from the pro split, the platinum split? I'm not sure. There you go. Rodney Golan on top. Nicely done. Quali results, that's from the bronze split for you. Liam O'Connor from JD Dent, Tamoya Goodwin, Brian Bullock, Luke Wagner, Troy Mortensen, Dale Sharp, Kelvin Little, Barry Punter, and Tristan Koch. The top 10. Race 1, Heat 1. Liam O'Connor converting beautifully from pole to victory from Tamoya Goodwin, Brian Bullock, Luke Wagner, Dale Sharp, Tim Watson, Colin Bennett, Troy Mortensen, Martin Davis, and Barry Punter. Can I stress too, ladies and gentlemen, that all of that is obviously provisional. We don't know what incidents have been called in, penalised, adjudicated on, whatever. All that is provisional until Adam Lavis gets his hands on the steward's report sheet after the fact. And considering that he's got a 3:45 a.m. alarm tomorrow morning, I get the feeling that you won't be seeing a points update until tomorrow afternoon. Luke Wagner, how did I know? Dale Sharp, Liam O'Connor, Martin Davis, Brian Bullock, Tim Watson, Troy Mortensen, then JD Dent, Colin Bennett, and Kelvin Little, the top 10 in the feature race. Well done to Luke Wagner getting a W there. And they did have a dry feature, so that's something they had in common at least with the platinum split. But Sam Blacklock too good here, and Thornweger just verifying now. I can't quali and race, now I just can't race. Yeah, true. Especially when you are a passenger on the wrong tyre, I would have thought, Mr. Weggett. Let's bring in our top 3 here post-race. Stay with me there, Harrison Denbrink. I want to get to you in a moment because that wild ride at Turn 1, Lap 1 is something that we need to discuss. Sam Blacklock, the victor. I'll get to you in just a moment as well. I want to start with Jeff Adams. You got caught up in a couple of incidents there. Did you have a case to answer for in any of that or not?
Yeah, there's a small 5-second penalty I'm going to have to answer for if I don't have a look back myself and see if I can do something about it. But look, I'll take it on the chin if it is what it is. But yeah, there was some bishing and bashing out there and it was rough riding. But yeah, good race though.
Can we just bring back the results sheet of that race there, please, Adam, just to show everybody at home what that'll do to the results sheet. As I said, I called it across the line with an asterisk next to your name because of that. Not knowing yet whether Ryan Jones or anyone else around you is going to wear anything for their involvement in the Richard Mitchum incident either, but 5 seconds would take you down below, oh geez, it's hefty, down below Darren Lobb at the moment. So that would drop you down to 10th at this particular point in time. But small price to pay when you're part of an instant classic like that. And I guess you're also lucky in the sense that, as Thorn Weggett says, my overlay said everyone was on dry, and then as we drove on my racing overlay, it said most were on wets. Yes, it was half and half actually, Thorn, but well, we won't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Jeff, I mean, aside from the obvious, talk to me about your viewpoint of the incident where Ryan Jones and Richard Mitchum have tangled with one another. You nearly got checked up. In fact, I think you did make contact with Jonesy there on the follow-through.
Yeah, I copped a bit of left hand down after that. It was a small little touch. But from my point of view, it looked like Richard may have come across the nose, but I can't tell from my point of view. It definitely was, you'd have to go back and have a good look at it. But yeah, I was, I tried to take advantage of it, but with Harrison breathing down my neck and then copping a left hand down and struggling to get the car around on the last lap, I knew my time was numbered, and I knew Harrison was going to eventually get me there, so I just wanted to hold on to as many positions as I could.
All right, very nicely done. No fun wearing an invoice that's going to be so costly in the end. So tightly bunched was the field after 37 minutes. That in itself is a talking point and quite a big takeaway. But aside from that, you must be pleased with the pace that the Mustang brought to the table tonight. I mean, aside from the Ferrari, which dominated at the front with Sam Blacklock, the Ford held its own.
Yeah, it's a good car around here. It just shows what you can do when you do some practice. So I put a couple of laps in there, and I did the 3-hour endurance race around here on the weekend, and that's given me a bit of a heads up. I had way more pace than I was actually expecting to have, actually, to be honest. But those Ferraris, they're just as quick, to be honest.
I don't know whether that was Ryan Jones putting his hand up and noting the incident, or whether he too is off to have a chat with race control there. He said, I'll give you the overview that he's drifted, the car 011 has drifted too far off the wall. What's this dry track? Yeah, I know. We were as surprised as you were, Andrew. Don't worry about that. Two Splits had a wet feature, Two Splits had a dry. More on that a little bit later. I am tight for time tonight, boys. I've got to get out of here in about 15 minutes for the sake of our fearless leader of the broadcast, Adam Lavis, who's got a 3:45 a.m. alarm. So let me quickly wrap it up with you, Jeff, before I let you go. How do you take stock of all of this and regroup and build towards putting a 90-minute showing together when we get to the Circuit de la Sarthe next Monday night, please?
Oh, just if I do some practice, I might have some pace, but we'll see. I'm not in any sort of championship sort of contention in this series, so I'll see how I go. And if I've got pace, I've got pace, and if not, then I'll just enjoy the race and whoever's around me. But yeah, cheers for the night, boys.
Well done, mate. Appreciate that. Thank you. We'll look forward to catching up with you as the week continues.
Thanks a lot, mate. See ya.
Right, there he is, Jeff Adams. Harry, hold station for me. Mr. Heaney, El Presidente. As much as I shouldn't be telling the president to hold station, I'm going to say I'm going to Sam Blacklock first and coming to you a little bit later on as well. So hang tight for me, please. All good. Let's go to Sammy Blacklock, because I know it's already been mentioned in the comments, mate, that you're eyeing off dinner already. I'm holding you up, so I don't want to do that too much longer, any longer than I have to. Clinical performance review in that feature race. We'll get to that in a moment. What on earth happened in the first race, though? Because you and P8 aren't a combination that I'd normally put together.
Unfortunately, that was everything I had in that first race. The car I had, I tried to push, obviously sort of dry conditions with a little bit of damp track around the edges, and yeah, every time I tried to push, I just was basically about to have a massive accident. So yeah, I gave it everything, and that was all I could muster up was P8, which is really disappointing, but gave me a bit of a, I guess, mental challenge into the second race, where I just, I knew that, Ferrari's not the problem. Obviously, Harrison absolutely flying in that first race. So, pretty much a driver, a skill issue. So yeah, I went into that second race and just gave it everything, and yeah, pretty happy with the gap I pulled out in the end there.
Well, and so you would be, mate, but completely unaware, I'm sure, of the sort of show that was unfolding behind you. I'm sure you'll go back and have a look at the tape and absolutely enjoy it. There's 6 of one and half dozen of the other here, right? And I want to know which you would prefer. You've been in battle packs like that before, where all hell breaks loose and it's every man for himself, and there's, you know, obviously some incidents and some moments that are going to be had overviewed through race control. But which would you prefer? Being in the thick of that and not knowing exactly how it's all going to play out and where I'm going to finish, or being ahead of everything and being able to cruise with a fair degree of confidence and comfort, knowing full well that you're not going to be challenged?
I like a bit of the in-between, to be honest. Sorry to ruin your question. No, look, I really enjoyed being at the front, just in that initial first few laps, because I knew it was super important to try and get a big gap. Obviously, Harry behind and Bo as well, you know, had their races not sort of gone downhill at the start, I, you know, would be genuinely curious to see, you know, how close they would have got. If not, I would, you know, personally, I would say they probably would have got to me and overtaken me. But, you know, I love that sort of challenge, and I didn't look at any of that in the first sort of 5 laps. I just knew, you know, it was head down, do the best laps I could get out of the car. And yeah, in the end, that didn't stop the whole race. I think I sort of started working the car out maybe about lap 5 or 6, and from there it was just, you know, trying to get, you know, faster and faster. And look, you know, obviously dramas behind probably makes that gap look bigger than what it should have been. But, you know, I love a challenge like that where it's just, you know, get everything from the car and see where you end up.
Were you surprised at how the margin just ballooned out in the closing laps, or did you expect that because of the battle that was unfolding behind?
Yeah, well, obviously I had the DPR guys behind me, at least Ryan Jones, and he was in front of me in the first race. So I let him pass, I think, on the first or second lap, and I couldn't keep up with him. So I was expecting, you know, him to be sort of hunting me down once he got into second place, and I don't know if it was just a combination of different track conditions or something like that. Or me just learning the car, but yeah, watching that sort of gap eke out over the lap, and you know, there was corners where Ryan was stronger than me, and corners where, quite interestingly, the hairpin, Ryan would pull about probably 3/10 on me on the way into the hairpin every lap. I don't know if that's just a timing error, but and then on the way out, I would sort of gain 3/10. So. Really interesting how all that worked out, and yeah, in the end it was pretty enjoyable just to drive this car sort of at the max that at least I can get out of it, and see where things finished.
All right, very nicely done. Hey, as I said, I'm tight for time tonight, so let's put a full stop on it here by asking you your immediate thoughts on going into enduro mode next week and what the Circuit de la Sarthe might have in store for us.
Yeah, look, typically been a favourite track of mine, you know, obviously for the 24-hour events and stuff like that, but did a gents race here in, maybe 25, season 3, season 2 even, maybe.
It's been a while, yep.
Yeah, and yeah, myself and Harry Lillis had an awesome race where we were basically nose to tail for the whole thing, so... hopefully can have a really good race there. Obviously very slipstream dependent. I'm sure Harry and Bo will be extremely quick and pretty hard to beat, so if I can hang on to the back of them, that'd probably be classified as a good round.
Very nicely done. Well done, mate. great performance. How busy does the rest of the week look for you, please?
The rest of the week looks very busy. I think I've got some 12 and 13-hour days lined up at work, so probably not much time for the sim. Even today, that was it was a bit of a struggle. I think I did about 2 laps in practice and thought, damn, I could really use a nap right now. So, we'll see how we go for the rest of the week. Obviously we're preparing for V8 Pro and things like that as well in the background. So, any time I can spend on the sim will probably be dedicated to that, and I'll save the Monday nights for this car.
I'm torn, right, because we've got V8 Pro next Sunday, but next Thursday the Test Match Summer gets underway in winter for the Australians. We're good at holding summer events in winter. Just look at the Olympics. We're hosting the Summer Olympics in winter in 6 years' time up here in the slow and sleepy, steady state of Queensland. It's going to be lovely. The road ahead, Circuit de la Sarthe next week, then on to Indianapolis for sprint racing. Very excited about that. Suzuka will host the last 60-minute race of the season, only one of them to come. Then on to the Red Bull Ring for sprint racing, and then back to Mount Panorama for an enduro. So 2 90-minute races. Sort of headline, if you like, top and tail, the back half of the season itself. I'm kind of hoping Australia get the job done by the Saturday afternoon of the Test match in the top end, Sammy, because otherwise I'm going to be commentating with the boys on the Sunday, the 1,000, and having one eye constantly on the right-hand side of the screen to watch as much cricket as I can. Very good stuff. Well done, mate. Terrific performance. Appreciate you stopping on by. Go well for the rest of the week.
Thanks, Zach. And, see you next week.
Yes, it's going to be an enormous week next week. Of course, headlined by the Enduro here at the start of the week. And then there's a Porsche round for the boys on Wednesday night. GSRC action Thursday, Friday across the whole week. And then, of course, the big Bathurst 1000 weekend. Next weekend for our colleagues over at the Australian Sim Racing Group, you will hear me in the booth with Scotty Rankin and Sam Mann, Stephen Clark. You'll hear you'll see a lot of our boys that you see on a regular basis here on the platforms of the GSRC lining up in that event. We wish them the very best of luck. Righto, Harry Danbrinker, let's rip the Band-Aid off here and hear from you, please. What the hell was that? Extraordinary, because obviously we didn't see qualifying on race 1, but you've just gone out and restored order after an off week last week. You've gone out and clean bowled everybody, taken pole position, won the sprint race comfortably, and then all of a sudden you're staring at that tyre wall at turn 1 on lap 1 of race 2, and you've somehow jagged it back and finished on the podium. How the hell did you do that, please?
I could not tell you. I don't know how I managed to get back to P3. I mean, honestly, it was a miracle with the incidents ahead, with Bo and such as well, getting taken out early on, is what actually got me to P3, but I was lining up for, I think, 6th or 7th place, even without those. So getting to there is absolutely incredible. I'm really happy with that.
I was going to say, that was an extraordinary conclusion to that race. Obviously, incidents around certainly played a contributing role in aiding that. You had probably a bird's eye view to all of the garbage happening with Keane and Jones and Mitchum, and as you were making your way through, you've been able to jag on the final lap an extra position. You were 4th going into the final lap, got 3rd on the run home. Really good stuff, mate. Solid. Harlan Esports can David Kirby still trying to dry out after a wet night in the gold split. Hey, that's big for the championship though, isn't it, mate? You needed that turnaround in fortune from last week. Otherwise, we're going to start talking about sprint nights being your Achilles heel. We did make the comparison earlier, Dave Oliver and I, comparing it to the great Matty Dench, and we know exactly what he achieved in these corridors for 13 consecutive seasons in GT3. But at the same time, you want to win it on a fair and equal playing field. Obviously disappointing that Bo Cubis has run into trouble on lap 1 as well, but that's a tremendous leg up for you. You've got to take those opportunities when they're presented to you to benefit from the misfortune of your opponents, even though that's not how you want to win them. Every little bit of assistance helps, right?
Oh, of course. As soon as I was off on lap 1, that was really my first thought, was the championship and just those points, because I knew Mitchum and Bo were starting quite high up as well, and I didn't have a big gap to them, and Mitchum already has that one drop round from not coming, and this round I imagine is will become his second drop round for now as well. But it just, really needed those points. Really happy to have got them. It extended that lead a little bit, I believe, unless Sam's come up to P2 and you wait and look at the standings, but it was really good to get those.
Adam Lavis feverishly working away at the standings for us at the moment. Whilst we do a rapid-fire post-race show, Holy Model Woolly race coming from Gold Split, says the Miller Motorsport stable. We're running out of time here, mate. Let me ask you this, because we've got half the season done, half the season to go. You are still the points leader. 4-round wins from 5 attempts. It's a pretty clean start to the campaign for you. What have you got to do to go out there and finish it off, and how are you feeling about the Circuit de la South?
I'm feeling pretty good about Le Mans. I think I've got pretty good pace there. Unfortunately, the Mustang will be quite quick, with the Ferrari being a little bit off of it, and we'll just have to wait and see with the other cars. I'm not too sure how it'll play out now with the new traction control update. Haven't really raced it enough to see, but I am looking forward to it. Went well in majors, got a podium, so really looking forward to it.
Miller Motorsport saying that Harrison Dembrinker is my childhood GOAT. Got posters of him up on the wall. And I don't think we need to elaborate on that at this particular point in time. Hey, just quickly, one more comment from you. The Ferrari and the HockenheimRing, you had a chance to drive it in both the wet and the dry. Which was better?
We didn't actually get to full wet. We were just in the puddles to drying conditions, which, to be honest, is probably why I won that first race pretty dominantly in a way. Those are basically my favourite conditions to drive in. I've always had quite good pace in it, so it was really fun. Honestly, would prefer it in the dry. If happy it stayed dry, had the pace to catch back up, so it was very good.
No, mate, very nicely done. Thanks for stopping on by for a chat. Good luck with Le Mans next week. Hopefully we're having a chat with you. Not then, because we don't have a post-race show next week, but hopefully we're having a chat with you in week 7 when we get to Indy. Very well done in the first half of this season. All the best with the second of it.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
From Harry Dembrinker to G. Heaney, and I can't help but feel that Joe Hargraves might owe you a bottle of whiskey after all that. He dead set stole a victory right out of your bloody fingertips, my friend.
Yeah, to say I'm a little bit bemused is an understatement. I had to tell the other boys that were out there, so Lockie and Ben, is like, because I saw Jackson go off, and I'm like, I had a decent run with Jackson last week around Adelaide. I was like, Jackson pinned it, and then it's like, okay, I'm now in second. All right, and then we'll catch up to I'm going really bad with names here.
I'm not helped at the moment because I haven't got the names up on my screen.
Yeah. Whoever it was in second place at that point in time, and Stephen Gallacher. Right? It was Gallacher.
Yes,
right?
That was.
I've managed to. I'm like, okay, I can see the gap closing, and then I get the opportunity to get past him and give him plenty of room, knowing that the track is a little bit slippery, and got past him. I was like, cool. Got through that lap, and I said to the boys, like, remind me to breathe. And then I've come round through through into the stadium. I'm like, there's a car out there. Uh-oh. And he's come back onto the road, and I was like, hold right. Hold to the right. And he turned left, and I'm like, oh, God.
Yep. And at that particular point in time, you knew exactly how fried you were, which is really unfortunate. Also extraordinary in that race, Lockie Shinkfield got clean bowled by Thornweger, who was a helpless passenger as soon as he hit the AstroTurf as well. And he still managed to come back and finish inside the top 6.
Yeah, no, Lockie did really well. Unfortunate for Ben, because I think Ben was also caught up in that incident as well at the Mercedes section. I think somebody was attempting to run down the grass line of the inside of that corner, and as Ben's turned through it, he's just been absolutely T-boned straight through. So I think it was a little bit unlucky on that one.
Yep. And we haven't got too much time left, mate. I need to wrap it up, but just give me a quick overview of how race 2 fared for you guys.
Lockie and myself at the top front row of the grid, and we're basically discussing it. Right, as soon as you round that last corner, stand on it once you've got it straight. And I was in second gear, and I'm like, yep, I went nowhere. It's like, yay. And then I had a couple of spins myself, almost beached it at the stadium section. I got stuck into the back of John Akers, in a braking overtake attempt. John was from race control. John was deemed to be moving under brakes. I think he squeezed me just a little bit, but I'm not entirely sure if I would have been able to get alongside either way. So unfortunate for John, and I think I came off second best out of that anyway. I think I ended up bringing it home inside the top 8, I think, because a couple of the boys tripped over each other on the last lap.
Oh dear, one of those interesting nights in the house, whether you're in the cockpit or in the booth. David Kirby has got to get... No, it's not that. Adam Lavis has a very early alarm tomorrow morning, and I'm trying to get out of here to give him as much sleep time as possible. And I've only got to get some final comments from Dave Oliver and run you through what's coming up on the platforms of the GSRC to do that. I'm actually about 5 weeks behind, shamefully, on Home and Away. But yes, it's all recorded and ready to rock and roll when I get the time to sit down and actually give it my full undivided attention, something that I don't have a hell of a lot of at the moment is free time. G. Heaney, sum it up for me. Thoughts on Le Mans next week?
We'll see how the Aston goes. I may be tearing the wing off just to be able to get some straight line speed out of it, but we'll see.
I was rooting for the Aston. I was so happy to see it at the front, and then so disappointed to see it's actually, that's exactly right. Let me get back to Miller Motorsport in a moment. I have a speech to prepare for Thursday because someone made the comparison, reckoned that I sounded like Albo during the delivery of the Formula V commentary the other night, and I'm not having a bar of that, so I've got to come in and off the long run, firing at all cylinders on Thursday night and restore order there. Don't worry about that. Now, looking forward to what the rest of the season will bring. I was rooting for the Aston purely because it was you, and it's good to see it at the front of the field, mate, but secondly, it's so bloody rare that we see an Aston dominating in this series at the moment. Different story on a Friday night, of course, but there are only 2 manufacturers to play with. Here we've got 11. You know what I'm getting at. Go well for the rest of the week, mate. We look forward to seeing you. I'm not here Wednesday night. Jim Jeffries is in town, and he and I have mutual love of 4-letter words, so I'm going off to enjoy that. You'll be in the capable hands of Matty Schmidtke and Jordan Pianazzola and Dale Sharp, so we look forward to seeing how they go, and then we'll catch up on Thursday when you're back in the V's.
No worries. Cheers.
The south of France, all right, and off to the Circuit de la Sarthe is the next stop. Hey, Dave Oliver, thanks for jumping on in. I've got to obviously have a chat with you off air, and I'm looking forward to that as well. The post-race show is always a lot of fun around here on the platforms of the GSRC, so we'll get to that in a few moments. But final thoughts from you, an action-packed night, and I think we've nailed it. Every time we come to the Hockenheimring and we go sprint racing, it is a far better show.
Yeah, it is. It's and especially just with the variety, it's like obviously, you know, we had the pro guys, also the platinum guys on the dries, you know, a dry track in that for that feature there, which, you know, brought some amazingly close racing throughout the field, and then we've had the wet, you know, provide us with some nice, you know, chaos, the lubricated chaos, I guess you could say it. You know, in the heat race there. So, you know, but on both sides, it was definitely some great racing there. And you know, like I was saying before, it's like as much as, you know, I'd love to be out on track, it's kind of one of those ones where it's kind of like, yeah, probably wouldn't have been that fun. So.
No, much more fun in here, much more chaotic, but much more fun at the same time. Plenty to sink your teeth into tonight, a heck of a lot of fun. We will update you on championship points a little bit later on in the week, ladies and gentlemen. I know Adam's still working on those at the moment, so we won't bother updating you on those tonight. We've got to get out of here. There'll be no post-race show next week because it will only have just seen the checkered flag fly at the Circuit de la Sarthe about this time. It's a 90-minute race around there next week, and with the carryover time from qualifying and other things, yeah, there won't be any time for a post-race show. We'll obviously bring the results from the other 3 splits and then step on out of here and step lively. There's the road ahead for you, the platforms of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club. The committee's choice tomorrow night, the Brands Hatch Rallycross, 3 heat races. The server opens 7 p.m. The racing kicks off about an hour later, really? 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Yes, really. Yes, Dave Oliver's all of a sudden very interested in Tuesday Night Motorsport. I'll be playing trivia with my colleagues in Goodna and looking forward to that. Wednesday night, as I said earlier, Pianazola, Sharp and Schmidtke with you for the double treat that is a 40-minute race from the housing estate for the merch.tgsrci.com BMW M Sport Cup, betterwise known in these corridors as the Virtual Oran Park. 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. I know that's a horrible thing to say, isn't it? The V8 Supercars, yeah, from the airfield of the Sebring International Raceway in Florida, 8:45 Eastern Standard Time there for those ones as well. So both the Elite and the Dev Split coming your way. 40 minutes the journey for both races on Wednesday night. I think we get back to sprint racing next week. Thursday night, looking forward to this. The V's never disappoint. The Rudskoga Motor Centre in Norway, 3 sprint races there, and 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. That is with Andrew Neal, with Matt Schmidtke and myself. Then Neely takes over. We head to the Silverstone Circuit in Great Britain. Will we see some rain when the Porsches land in town? We'll wait and see. 8:45 Eastern Standard Time. Which split are we up to this week, please, Adam?
Elite split.
Elite split again. So we'll be bringing you more coverage from the Elite split this week with the results from the Open split to follow. A 40-minute journey there from... No?
No, it's open split, sorry.
Oh, okay, copy. I haven't updated that part of my run sheet yet because it was only last week that we went back to running 2 splits every week. So open split action for you from the... There you go. Open split action from the Porsche Open Cup on Thursday night motorsport from the Silverstone Circuit in England. 40 minutes the journey there. 8:45 Eastern. So Norway for 3, Great Britain for 1, 4-race program. Looking forward to that. Disruptive Labs Formula V, the headline act into the Porsche Cup. Friday night motorsport. Look, let's be perfectly honest. Joe Baldwin will be here. It says non-broadcast at the moment, but he's 4 from 4 so far. So I'm backing him in, provided that he's got his soundboard issues sorted. After they blew up on Friday night. GT1 Civil War first up from the Watkins Glen International Raceway in upstate New York. 40 minutes the journey there. Then off to Portland, 55 laps to wait in the IndyCar Series with thanks to Disruptive Labs. And we are staying on the west coast of America for consecutive weeks on the back of the streets of Long Beach in California, playing host to last Friday night's affair. We spin the wheel on Friday night to determine the car of choice on Saturday night for the Mountain Men excursion around Mount Panorama Bathurst. There's a lot going on at the moment. I'm trying to talk faster to get us out of here earlier, folks, and it's not working. Mountain Men Friday night wheel spin determines the car of choice. 32 laps the journey. Mount Panorama Bathurst, 200 kilometres. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when it all gets underway. Although I do believe Joe Baldwin accommodated a later start time for our fearless leader a few weeks back, because his computer was crashing at 8:08.
I joked with him about it, and I changed it so both weeks have been 7 o'clock.
So, 8 o'clock, so looking forward to that. And then next Monday night, we're back with the Gold Split is in focus. I was wondering where we'll go next week. I couldn't remember. The Gold Split in focus for the GT3 showdown from Circuit de la Sarthe, Le Mans, France. 90 minutes the journey there, the first of 2 90-minute races in the back half of the season. Yes, can you believe it? Second half of the season gets underway next Monday night. Silverstone Circuit in England. First up, so a bit of Silverstone coming up in the next couple of weeks. This time round, it'll be the Formula Renault 3.5 wings and slicks with thanks to waste options. 30 minutes to journey there, 90 minutes from Le Mans, later finish, 8:30 Eastern. Looking forward to that. Hope you've enjoyed our coverage tonight. Well done to the Aussies, absolutely tore to shreds of the Commonwealth Games. And now we obviously begin the countdown to LA in 2028, Ahmedabad for Commonwealth Games in India for the first time since 2010 in 2030. But well done to the Aussies, a brilliant performance right across the board. The Diamonds, obviously, the surprise, but Rose Gold seems to look good on them. On behalf of Dave Oliver, the entire crew here, we sincerely hope that you've enjoyed a Rip Tear Rush Bust edition of Monday Night Motorsport with thanks to waste options across the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. It's all made possible thanks to Disruptive Labs, merch.tgsrci.com, waste options, flash graphics and trophy.ai. We look forward to your company Wednesday night. If you want to get involved, race.tgsrci.com is where you go for all the relevant information, the who, what, when, where, why and how of this great club. And if you want to buy some merch while you're there, merch.tgsrci.com is where you go. We're out of here, we're done. Germany delivered a magnificent double tonight. Cracking racing, great drama, some controversy as well. We wouldn't have it any other way. August away in a big way with an enormous bang. Night 1, week 5, term 3, done and dusted. We'll see you Wednesday night for the continuation of the BMW M Sport Challenge and also the Supercar Series. From all the crew here, I'm Zach Caban. Enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody, and until we see you on Wednesday, it's bye for now.